Looking at this guy's muscles, who would think he's only a 10th grader? Just 2 months ago, Chun's car was still a fat guy weighing over 300 pounds. Just because he offended some thugs, his girlfriend was cruelly retaliated against to the point of being hospitalized. But those guys didn't know they had accidentally awakened a monster. The story started that morning when a random punk dared to come to Chun's class to collect protection money. When the other party didn't pay, he brutally beat Chun. Seeing this, On-mi was really annoyed and shoved the half-eaten bread right into his mouth. Everyone thought Chun's girlfriend Ha-jin would come to stop it. But who knew she turned into a fierce fighter and twisted the thug's arm, choking and beating him badly. How dare you mess with my boyfriend? You're finished now, fatty. Having a girlfriend like her is really worth it. The gang leader was shocked to find his subordinate just got slapped by a girl like a child, really cruel. He ordered someone to make trouble, splashing ink all over Ha-jin's uniform. The classmates, afraid of retaliation, didn't dare to stand up as witnesses. Right then, Chun appeared, took off his shirt, and put it over Ha-jin, gently comforting her, and then leading her to change into new clothes. The bullies turned their heads as they left, wondering why the pig didn't get angry at all, then told Kia-shock it seemed ineffective. But Kia-shock told them to wait, that when they find out who did it, they'll come looking themselves. Sure enough, Chun quickly entered the room where they usually hung out. Seeing their comrades around, the whole gang got very aggressive. "What's up, pig? You look pretty unhappy. You want to fight me?" Chun ignored them and told Kia-shock that as long as he apologized to Ha-jin and paid for her new uniform, it would be over. But Shock wore a mocking face, acting like he knew nothing and hadn't done anything, saying, "You're bullying friends so scary." Then he suddenly stood up and said coldly, "Just pretend I did something. Do you really think what you say can scare me?" The fatty said this while tapping on Chun's stomach. The subordinate, scared, lost patience and stepped forward directly. "What nonsense have you been talking about, pig?" But he didn't get a chance to touch Chun. With one punch, Kia-shock's face was twisted out of shape. Chun just thought to himself, why has there been a mosquito buzzing in the class all this time? Then he looked at the others and thought, looks like I have to slaughter the mosquito's whole gang. Suddenly the whole school seemed to shake. Shock was bleeding from being hit, but still couldn't stop yelling non-stop. "What are you just standing there for? Beat him up for me." His comrades got fired up and rushed in. But Chun just lifted his leg and lightly kicked, sending him flying through the air without touching the ground. Before Kia could recover, Chun elbowed him right in the middle of his face ID. Another guy saw his comrade getting beaten badly and couldn't stand still anymore, but he just walked right into a trap. Chun charged, carried him on his shoulder, and in a blink knocked Kia to the ground. The outcome was no different from the two previous subordinates. Chun had used all his strength and started breathing heavily. Shock's subordinate looked a little scared witnessing this. Shock, who had just been watching quietly, suddenly clapped and praised, "Niece, you took down 3 guys at once. You'd be great at wrestling." Then he noticed Chun's heavy breathing and showed surprise. Shock stepped closer to warm up and said, "Now come fight me. Give it your all and see what happens. Why do you look so weak?" Not fun at all. He stood there dodging slower and slower, saying, "Even if I put both hands behind my back, I could still dodge you." Chun thought silently, this bastard is fast, just one punch and I could win. Suddenly, Kia-shock came close and said, "You're aiming to punch me, right?" Chun took the chance to strike but couldn't hit them. Kia-shock mocked, "Why are you in such a hurry? Want to be the righteous hero? If you kneel and beg me now, I'll give you some tuition money and make your school life easier. It's been a while since we had a fun scene like this. You have a kind heart just like your girlfriend." Chun, unwilling to back down, said with real frustration. Kia-shock angrily glanced at Chun and continued, "What is that buzzing mosquito sound? It's so annoying. Truly a harmful insect that only knows how to suck others' blood to live. I thought you had a fierce mouth, but you're no match for Kia-shock. Are you provoking me so I can punch you?" Before he could finish speaking, Chun lunged forward. He hugged Kia-shock tightly around the waist, intending to pin him to the ground, but Kia-shock wasn't scared at all. Instead, he smiled wickedly as if everything was going according to his plan. When he got his arms around Kia-shock's waist, Chun thought he had succeeded. He tried to muster all his strength, just needing to use his weight to pin him down and land a punch. But suddenly an unexpected problem occurred. Kia-shock grabbed Chun's leg tightly. In the end, the one who got controlled was Chun. Kia-shock laughed maniacally. "Ha ha ha, such fierce fighting ability, huh? What's up, fatty, did you hear me? Don't try too hard or you'll get hurt, you know that." Chun blushed furiously, not knowing how to break free. He felt the air fading, struggling to breathe. Just then, Ha-Chin appeared and, seeing the scene, shouted angrily. Ha-Chin rushed over in fury and kicked Kia-Shock straight in the head, twisting his face. Kia-Shock sat up, completely confused, not understanding what was happening. As he gathered himself, he shouted, "You crazy girl, do you think I'm afraid to hit a girl? Wait, my life's basically all about getting beaten by girls, right?" Jun-Shock stood beside hurriedly, trying to stop her. "Wait, Kia-Shock, I heard from some classmates that girl has been training in martial arts since she was young. She's really skilled at fighting." Kia-Shock showed contempt. "What are you talking about? How good can a girl be at fighting?" Then he grabbed Ha-Chin's hair and sneered, "Crazy girl, have you ever fought a guy today? I'll show you how terrifying men can be." But when he saw Zechun's strange expression, Kia-Shock suddenly felt confused. "What's with your expression, Zechun?" After a fierce fight, he now had to try to reason with his opponent. He mouthed the words trying to say run away, but Shock only gave a cold laugh. "What, you want me to spare him? Men and women are equal. I just want to land one punch." Hachi looked up and asked softly, "You've never hit a girl before, right?" Kia-Shock angrily said, "Sure, I'll teach you some manners. I'll use all my strength to teach you a lesson." But his punch didn't faze Hachi. She gently dodged and quickly moved toward Kia-Shock. Using just a bit of strength, she lifted him up and slammed him hard to the ground. Kia-Shock took a critical hit and lay motionless like he'd fainted. But Ha-Chin glanced over and still wasn't ready to let him off. She locked Kia-Shock's hands tightly, causing him great pain. Then she yanked hard, making Kia-Shock scream, "Let me go! I surrender." But Ha-Chin coldly said, "A rude punk like you doesn't deserve to surrender." She scowled, "Fine, I'll just break your arm and be done with it." Kia-Shock begged in pain, "No, please don't. Let me go. I think my arm's broken. It hurts so much. I give up. I was wrong. I won't dare do it again." Ha-Chin darkened her face. "What did you do wrong?" Kia-Shock fearfully said, "I was wrong about everything when I took the ink out." Hearing that, Ha-Chin tightened her grip even more. "So that's what you were up to? You even bullied weaker kids." Kia-Shock cried out, "I know I was wrong. I won't bully anyone anymore." Finally, Ha-Chin let go. She turned to her group and sternly warned those thugs, "If I see you bullying anyone again, I'll cripple you all. Got it?" Then she turned gently to Zechun. "Let's go to the infirmary." But Zechun refused. "No need. Just resting a bit will be fine." "Yes." Jun-Shock, realizing they had left, turned around and said, "What should we do now? I haven't taken all their money yet." Before Jun-Shock could finish, Shock cut in. "Everyone knows already. Shut up and let me think." But how could that girl do that? At the end of the day, when preparing to leave, Ha-Chin anxiously asked, "Are you really okay? Not feeling dizzy? I see you don't look well at all, like you're about to faint." Zechun blushes, denying it's nothing. "Why did you come right when I was about to strike back?" Ha-Chin sneers, climbs onto your shoulder, and says, "There's no way you could fight back. Do you even know what that technique is? You're big, but fight like a child. I invited you to practice jujutsu, but you refused." Zechun annoyedly turns away. "I already said no. Honestly, who's bullying me, him?" Seeing Zechun's attitude, Ha-Chin frowns. "What's that look for? Are you mad at me now?" "You're the one who's mad," Zechun replies. Ha-Chin follows and says, "When did I get mad? I just won't worry about you anymore." Zechun turns and replies, "Who needs you to worry about me? Do you still think I'm some chubby kid?" Zechun glances at Ha-Chin with a puzzled look. "All right, stop talking." Ha-Chin scowls angrily. "I won't let this go." Hearing that Zechun doesn't back down, "You go straight home and say you're busy today and can't take Ha-Chin to the training room." Ha-Chin is sad. She just wants to go with you a little longer. Just after arriving home, Zechun takes out his phone to text Ha-Chin, but then deletes all the messages. You lie on the bed, exhausted, your mind tangled and annoyed with yourself, this pathetic guy. After thinking for a while, you feel there's nothing to be ashamed of, but still feel uneasy. You pull the blanket over your head and tell yourself it will be okay. Tomorrow will be better. Outside night falls and suddenly the door bursts open. Your father storms in shouting, "Zechun!" He's clearly angry. Zechun yells back in surprise, "What's wrong? Why are you shouting?" Your father asks why you didn't answer your phone. Zechun picks up the phone, looks at the screen and says, "I was sleeping. What's so urgent?" His eyes go blank as he looks up at his father who's breathing heavily, speechless. Ha-Chin, that girl. Zechun suddenly feels something terrible is happening. His expression turns worried. At this moment, Ha-Chin lies in the hospital, bruised all over, breathing with oxygen. Outside the hospital room, Ha-Chin's parents are completely devastated. Ha-Chin's father looks up anxiously. Chun is here. Ha-chin's mother arrives sweating profusely, breathing heavily, legs stained with blood, and asks tiredly, "Uncle, where is Ha-chin?" The father lowers his head heavily. Still no news yet. Ha-chin's mother trembles as she cries and asks Chun, "Chun, what's going on with your cousin?" You stare blankly and ask, "What happened to her? Is she badly injured?" Behind Ha-chin's father, someone catches up holding the slippers you hadn't put on yet. Chun keeps asking, "She's okay, right? She just needs surgery, right?" Your father steps forward, handing you the slippers. "Calm down and put these on, son." Your hands tremble nonstop. You tell him she left school with you today, but you didn't go with her to the gym, so Ha-chin went alone. "Yes, that's right." "Yes, that's..." Then a man steps in, interrupting you. "Let me ask something. You're Ha-chin's friend, right?" Chun turns, surprised. "Yes, sir. Who are you?" The man shows his badge and introduces himself. "I'm from the Zumbu Police Criminal Division." Chun asks, "Oh, yes. What's the matter?" seeing Ha-chin's family in distress. The officer lowers his voice to Chun. "Let's move over there to talk." He begins, "Last time you saw Ha-chin, about what time and where was that?" Chun replies, "Right after school." "But why is a criminal officer here?" The officer explains this case is suspected to be a group assault. "We are in charge of this case." Chun, shocked, asks again, "A group assault? Who assaulted her?" "We're recording your statement now." "We're looking for those suspects." "Do you know if Ha-chin has any conflicts or enemies?" Chun suddenly remembers the times Ha-chin stood up to protect friends from bullies. The image of the brave girl punishing those thugs flashed through his mind. Chun started telling the story. It seems that yesterday and today he had some conflicts with some delinquents at school. The police officer continued to ask, "So Ha-chin is usually also a victim of school violence?" Chun shook his head. "No, that's not the case. On the contrary, he had taken action to punish those bullies." The police officer kept taking notes. So it's possible that this crime is a revenge act by those bullies. "What is it?" Chun replied, "They are second-year students named Lee Ki-shak and Choi Jun-shak." "But is Ha-chin's condition very serious? How badly was he injured that he needed surgery?" The police officer looked directly at Chun with a serious tone. "Ha-chin was found in an alley next to an office building. It seems the girl was gang-attacked somewhere else, then dragged to this alley unconscious. The facial wounds are suspected to be caused by punches. Especially the right side of the face is seriously injured. The most severe injury is on the left knee. Of course, further investigation is needed to be sure, but we believe the culprit used a leg lock technique to break her knee." Chun thought to himself, "Why did this happen so suddenly?" He suddenly remembered something and said to the police officer, "Was it Lee Ki-shak? That bastard seems to be a delinquent." "Delinquent, I see. I will look into this information further for the investigation." Ha-chin's hospital room door opened. Seeing the doctor come out, her parents hurriedly asked, "How is our daughter?" The doctor replied, "Fortunately, the surgery was successful." Ha-chin's mother burst into tears. "Thank you, doctor, truly thank you." The doctor continued, "The left cruciate ligament was torn, but with diligent physical therapy, it will not affect daily activities. However, in cases like this, the psychological trauma is often more severe than the physical. The family should have her undergo both physical rehabilitation and psychological treatment to achieve the best results." Ha-chin's father could only silently hold his wife. The rest will be explained by the nurse. Chun stood behind the wall, listening to everything. He held his face, suppressing his emotions. It was already nighttime at the hospital. Everyone gathered around Ha-chin's hospital bed. Her face was beaten to the point of near deformation. Everyone was silent, not knowing what to say. Chun stood motionless, looking at his friend's face with a painful heartache. He clenched his teeth, trying to hold back tears. His eyes gradually changed, revealing clear, murderous intent. A few days later, at the police station, a voice shouted, "There are no other suspects here. I told you those guys are the culprits." The police officer seemed surprised. It turned out to be Chun. He still shouted loudly, "Those alibi pieces of evidence are all fabricated. You guys investigate all day and only find that." "What about the surveillance cameras?" the police officer angrily said. "Hey kid, watch your language. You think we only care about this case?" Another officer stopped him. "Officer Jiang, calm down." He was about to continue, but was interrupted by Officer Na regarding the surveillance cameras. "The cameras of the office building next to the alley where Ha-chin was found have been broken for some time and are awaiting repair." Officer Na looked at Chun. "We also plan to investigate that building further and collect more data from surrounding cameras." Chun's eyes glanced at something that made Officer Na confused. He looked in the direction Chun was looking and saw it was the file on the gold office building. He immediately closed it. If we get more information, we will contact Chin's family. Don't come here on your own anymore. Chun was silent for a moment, then said, "The teacher said this happened off school grounds, so we should meet the police. The police said there's no evidence, so that bad guy is still roaming free." Officer Jang angrily, "This kid is getting cocky, isn't he?" Officer Na just remained silent. Chun turned away looking dejected and blamed the system as usual. He turned back with eyes full of killing intent. "Fine, I'll handle this myself." Officer Jang shouted, "That kid!" "That's right." Before he could finish his sentence, he was stopped by Na police without a word. "When you have time, try to find out what that kid is planning to do." Officer Jang surprised hung, "Why?" "Because I'm not comfortable with him." Chun's car is waiting at the gold building. It's already dark, but you still patiently wait. When Shock and his girlfriend came out after finishing some dark business. "Do you think I was impressive today?" "Ha ha, I'd say you were the best of the best. You made my heart race." Behind them, Jun Shock also came out with a girl. "Hey, Ki-sok, you look damn cool today. You've really improved lately, I told you. I trust myself, didn't I?" "Ha ha ha. Today was awesome. Let's go inside the alley and smoke another cigarette before leaving." "Uh-oh, what's that?" That pig Chun's car turned to say. "I thought I was just guessing, but seeing you guys here now, I'm sure." You slowly approach those pathetic sausages. Which dog made Chin end up like that? The two Kia guys were surprised to hear Chun's words. "What the hell? Looks like some sick guy." "Who is he?" "Someone you know," Ki-sok said to Jun Shock. "Whoa, I'm scared." "That's why, and he's fat too, which makes him even scarier." Ki-sok covers his mouth laughing as he approaches Chun's car. "You waiting for me here?" "How did you know I was here to wait?" Chun's car angrily replied. "You should explain that. Why did you show up here?" Ki-sok tried to hold back laughter but couldn't. He laughed loudly, "Ha ha ha." Just after finishing, he got punched hard by Chun's car, sending Ki-sok flying. Ki-sok's girlfriend scared that crazy pig dares to hit someone. Jun Shock was also shocked. Chun's car approached Jun Shock. "What are you going to do? Don't come near me." But before he could finish, he got slapped. His eyes rolled back, seeing Chun's car still rushing forward. Jun Shock got punched again. He shouted pig, but from behind, Ki-sok got up and grabbed a rock ready to charge at Chun's car. Chun's car turned and saw Ki-sok rushing towards him. He stared at you. When he got close, Chun's car threw a very strong punch. You were surprised to see he dodged the punch by slipping down. He used force to hug your leg tightly. Chun's car began to lose balance. You told yourself not to fall, but Ki-sok's strength was too strong. He threw you down to the ground. But as soon as you fell, he punched you in the face. When Ki-sok pinned you down, Chun's car covered your mouth with one hand. "Today I'll give you a lesson you won't forget. Your crippled little brother can't save you either." Chun's car still tried to resist. You struggled to escape the dangerous situation, but Ki-sok's grip remained tight. Ki-sok smirked, raising his hand. "You don't know what move I'm going to use, do you?" If you don't know, Chun's car panicked, but it was too late when Ki-sok continued the attack. A series of punches rained down on Chun's car's face. When Ki-sok panted his hands covered in the opponent's blood, he used force to bend Chun's car's arm. "I'll help you cripple just like your little brother, you ungrateful bastard." Yeah, Chun's car still desperately resisted. "Cough, cough, I'll kill you," Ki-sok sneered. "Yeah, let me break your arm and see if you can still talk back." At that moment, a strange voice called Ki-sok. He annoyedly turned his head and saw a man with long white hair not wearing any clothes approaching. Ki-sok asked bewildered uncle, "Why aren't you wearing any clothes? What's the matter?" The man coldly replied, "Let go of him now." In the alley near the gold office building, the strange man appeared suddenly, making Ki-sok confused. Ki-sok asked again, "What did you say?" The man didn't answer but quickly stepped toward him. Ki-sok turned pale, sensing the danger from this person. The man bent down with words heavy as stone. "I told you to let go." Ki-sok hurriedly released his grip. "I know I'll let go right now." But he still tried to act tough. "But what does that have to do with you? Was he the one who started it?" The man ignored Ki-sok and turned to Chun's car, ordering, "Send those guys away." He kindly asked the kid if he was okay. Ki-sok's gang and the girls were all shocked to see this scene. The girl was embarrassed to be witnessed by outsiders, so in her agitation she hit the man's shoulder and shouted, "What does it have to do with you if I ask? Don't interfere." The man glanced at him coldly, his tone icy. You're really curious about my abilities, huh? Ki-sok panicked when he saw the man take a stance. Where did you go to train? The man bent down and spoke each word slowly. Then let me open your eyes. Ki-sok was both scared and trying to act tough. Open my eyes to what? But unexpectedly, the man picked up his phone police right. At the alley near the office building, a group of drunk high school students were beating up another student. Ki-sok fearfully turned to threaten Chun. Hey, you pig, come to school tomorrow and you'll regret it for life. He shouted loudly. The sound was transmitted through the phone. The man spoke to the person on the other line. Did you hear what he just said? He's threatening the victim. Ki-sok hurriedly pulled his gang away. Let's go, that old guy called the cops. Let's get ready. But his gang was still curious. But who is that guy? Ki-sok shouted angrily. Who knows? Hurry up, if the police come, things will get really messy. After they left, Chun struggled to thank the man. It seemed unclear he turned back with a suspicious look. So, Chun cried as he spoke. Thank you, sir, thank you for helping me. Hearing that, the man smiled and slowly sat down next to Chun. You little pig. The unexpected joke made Chun stare at him in confusion. He stammered, Why would you say that? The man looked at Chun, the pig who's Ha-chin's best friend. Though his eyes were swollen, Chun widened them in surprise. You know Ha-chin? Yeah, we trained together. The man looked ahead and replied. Chun curiously asked, You train jujitsu too, but how do you know what I look like? The man answered. Ha-chin shows me pictures every day. Including pictures of your fat pig self, you look even fatter in real life. You really can't trust pictures. Hearing those cruel words, Chun could only stay silent, his face flushing red. The man changed the subject to ask Ha-chin, She's still unconscious, right? Yes. Chun lowered his head, eyes sad. Yes, that's right. It wasn't the brat from earlier. This statement surprised Chun. He continued. The one who caused Ha-chin's situation is not that brat from earlier. There's another group, too. Chun excitedly asked another group, You know about this? Do you have any proof? But the man just responded indifferently. Just a hunch. Hearing the word hunch, Chun was almost speechless. Then he pulled out a flyer and held it close to Chun's face. Looking closely, it was a registration form for jujutsu classes. He said, Kid, if you charge at that brat 100 times, you'll lose all 100 times. To beat a chess player, you have to learn how to play chess first. After hearing that, Chun seemed to understand. The next day at the jujutsu training room, Chun stood outside thinking, Even with all my allowance, it's not enough. But he decided to go in and check it out first, then figure things out. There seemed to be a lot of tough people, but it should be okay. Ha-chin said everyone here is kind. While muttering, two people approached from behind. They're all good people. No one's scary here. Chun was startled and quickly replied, Yes, that's right. By the time he reacted, his heart jumped. He was startled, but the two just laughed. You're really tall, I'm jealous. And you're muscular, too, really enviable. Chun nervously asked, Who are you guys? They answered, We're members here. But your face looks familiar. Before Chun could react, the two quickly pulled him inside. Come in first, then we'll talk. Hurry up, get in here. Chun resisted a bit. Wait, I'm not ready yet. But in the end, he was dragged into the training room. As soon as they entered, they shouted loudly, Teacher, we're here! The new member has arrived, let's clap. Faced with this scene, Chun felt tired. There are a few people like Ha-chin here already looking drained. When he looked around the gym, he suddenly saw someone lying on the floor. At that moment, a trainee stepped forward. Mr. Aizen, there's a new member here. Wake up quickly. Sir, I told you not to sleep on the mat during the day. Hearing the call, the shirtless man from yesterday who helped Chun slowly woke up. What's going on, kid? Chun wondered. Why are you sleeping in the middle of the gym during the day? Seeing the three strange people in front of him, he felt like he had come to the wrong place. When asked, Aizen replied, That kid is a pig. Hearing that the pig is Ha-chin's best friend, the other two stared wide-eyed mouths agape. Henry, I just said I've seen him somewhere before, remember? Like meeting a celebrity every day, just seeing photos, only now seeing his face. Chun, embarrassed, scratched my head, thinking maybe I should sneak back next time. He forced a smile and slowly walked toward the door. Actually, I don't have enough money, but before he could finish, a voice outside the door asked how much he was short. Chun was confused. The man continued to ask how much money he was missing. He glanced over. What the heck, people here are really strange. If you're a student, you can train for 80,000 won a month, cash payment only. Chun hurriedly replied, "Oh no, sir, I'm very short on money, so I'll come back next time." Seeing him still refuse, the man kept lowering the price, but suddenly the trainee behind coldly interrupted, "Yes." Chun and the new uncle turned to look at him in confusion. "I suddenly came up with a mutually beneficial idea," he said. "After all, he's Hachin's friend, so his status is basically guaranteed." The boss, hearing that he was Hachin's friend, asked, "You're Hachin's friend. Hasn't Hachin woken up yet? How could she?" Before he could finish, the other trainee interrupted free of charge. Hearing this, the man immediately turned to the other and said, "What are you talking about? This crazy guy. Even so, free tuition is a bit..." But the other said, "Teacher, you have to pay rent, and you've been delivering packages all day, even driving for others. How long do you plan to go on like this?" he asked, confused. "What does that have to do with free tuition, you crazy guy?" But he cleverly replied, "As soon as I saw that friend, I immediately came up with an advertising plan, teacher." He went over and patted Chun's stomach. "The plan is exactly what people nowadays care about most, but almost no one has done properly weight loss. He's very tall with a perfect frame, just needs to lose some weight. That young man has ideal height and a perfect frame, just needs to lose a bit more weight to become a top model shining brightly. Jiu-jitsu, a sport. Everyone from old to young can train together like a family or close friends. Not only helps self-defense skills, but also supports effective weight loss, bringing strength both physically and mentally." Hearing this plan, everyone was amazed, worthy of being the advertising team's ace. Even the uncle who just called him crazy nodded in approval. "Sounds reasonable." He excitedly asked, "What do you think, teacher? Isn't this method amazing? Don't you want to create a lively gym like before?" The uncle happily agreed. "Very good, approved. Let's go big this time." The other young man was equally excited. "Oh wow, teacher made a very wise decision." Seeing everyone chatting enthusiastically without asking him, Chun spoke up. "I'm sorry, but I never agreed." However, the two continued their lively discussion. "So how long will we do this?" "Teacher, rapid weight loss for 3 months obviously means 3 months, the uncle replied, laughing. Chun still tried to say, "Hey everyone, I don't intend to lose weight." But those people still ignored his words and continued discussing. "So let's stick to the athlete's schedule and train 3 times a day." "Hello, Eisen. I'm the physical trainer, so I arranged 1 aerobic session and 1 muscle training session for him. As for the diet, of course it's 5 chicken breasts, 5 cucumbers, and 2 liters of water a day." "Chae-sung has made the plan, so you handle the advertising part?" Eisen asked. "When do we start?" The uncle was immediately excited, saying, "Our road is still very long, ha ha ha." Here Chun felt the situation was unstable, stayed silent, and slipped away. But before he could get far, Eisen caught him saying, "Piglet member, go change clothes now." At times like this, he felt like he was about to die. 3 months passed quickly. After a tiring training session, the coach announced, "That's all for today's lesson." Chae-sung lay on the ground, tiredly complaining. "Chun, you've really improved a lot. Because you're tall, it's really tiring to fight you." Another person wiped his sweat and sighed. "Just watching you makes me feel like I've lost already." Right, isn't that day coming soon? It's the 3-month weight loss project they planned. When this was mentioned, everyone suddenly remembered, "Oh right, looking closely, now you really have lost a lot of weight." Jujutsu is getting better and better, and his body is getting more and more beautiful, absolutely perfect. Chun smiled modestly. "You guys are exaggerating, I still have a lot to work on. This is just the beginning." But now, Chun's appearance was completely different from 3 months ago. To them, with this appearance, no one would call him a pig anymore. At the jiu-jitsu gym, 2 old students were sitting and chatting about an interesting story. "It's amazing he's jumped 2 weight classes in just 3 months. One said, surely by the 5th next week we'll lose. The other worried, the coach must have made him work hard. That's because you 2 play poorly, everyone gather around." After everyone gathered, the lesson ended. When Chun was about to leave, Eisen called him back. "Let's measure your muscle strength," Eisen suggested, and others panicked. "Oh my God, really? What should I do now?" Chun was a bit scared and curled in. "What's wrong going all out today, Eisen? I look exhausted and think I'll go to bed early." "Usually if you're tired, can't you just take a day off?" Eisen bowed slightly and said, "Then tomorrow we'll add what we didn't do today too." Chun pulled himself together. "Delaying isn't good. Let's go." Then the 2 prepared their stuff and left. Before leaving, Chun didn't forget to look back and say, "Hey Le-sung, aren't you going to eat ice cream after exercising? Have you tried mint choco flavor?" After chatting a bit more with others, Chun followed Aizen to the park. He was holding the bar with one hand, his whole body trembling. Aizen shouted, "Let's go together!" Chun tried his best to pull up, cursing thousands of times inside. Then he trembled and collapsed onto the ground. Seeing that, Aizen stepped forward and asked, "Why aren't you using strength today, kid?" Chun, panting heavily, said, "I did right after finishing jujutsu training." Aizen gently hung on Chun again, speechless. "We're not monsters like you." It wasn't until sunset that the two finished their training session. Chun sat beside, devouring a tub of ice cream. Aizen saw that and said, "If you eat like that, you'll turn back into a piglet right away." Chun didn't care and laughed. "If you don't enjoy it, you won't have energy." "Don't know how it tastes, huh, Aizen? I bet that has a lot of calories." Anyway, what happened to that girl? Chun suddenly lost his spirit. "I don't know either. Since then, they haven't been in contact." His face darkened as he thought. After that incident, Ha-Chin had only been awake for 12 days. Her parents stayed at the hospital the whole time. They were heartbroken when they heard Ha-Chin had woken up. Chun also rushed straight to the hospital, but then faced Ha-Chin's gaze that seemed like she didn't want to see him. He had no other choice, so he had to leave. Her eyes seemed to say she knew he wanted to talk to her, but told him not to come close. When he heard what his uncle said, he was so shocked mentally that he didn't want to talk. During psychological counseling, besides family, he didn't want to meet anyone else. A few weeks later, Ha-Chin and his family left the neighborhood to focus on recovery elsewhere. After hearing this, Aizen asked if the police said anything. Chun's gaze was cold. They said they were investigating. It seems there hasn't been much progress. His eyes looked distant. "So are you really going to do it?" Ha-Chin asked if they had found those who did that, so he could protect himself, or if not knowing was okay. Using martial arts to harm someone is a disgraceful act. Chun said nothing. In his heart, he could only say 3 words, "I'm sorry." But Aizen stood up to leave, saying he could only say this much. "In the end, you are the one who decides your own life. But in reality, you made the decision 3 months ago." The vacation ended and the new school year began. On the first day of school, Kai Shok stood in the schoolyard and told Jun Shok that today is opening day. Remember to collect money carefully. The price has gone up again. Unbelievable. Jun Shok nodded. "All right, I'll focus on collecting money in the bathroom." Ki Shok pointed and asked the pig in the class to help collect the money. "Chun, I haven't been to school in a while. I wonder if he'll show up today." The two friends were talking, unaware that he was walking behind them. In class, Shok sat with his legs crossed on the desk, calling to ask if the other side had finished collecting protection money. A classmate approached and said someone told him to go to the rooftop immediately. Urgently, "Who is it?" When Shok asked, the blushing girl said she didn't know, but he was tall, had a good figure. Handsome, completely different from him. So when Shok heard the description, he thought it was Hun's senior, but the girl wasn't sure. "I don't know if he's a senior, but I asked him if he had a girlfriend, and he said no. You go ahead." In the bathroom, a few bullies were blocking a group of students. "Hey guys, you have to make me a little angry. Everyone thinks we're teasing you. We're trying to win your hearts. But why don't you accept our offer?" Hun Shok was loudly scolding when his phone rang. "You can't make it. If it's Hun Senior, he should be able to go immediately. I can handle it alone." After hearing that, he turned back and told the others, "You guys focus." Suddenly, the bathroom door opened. "Then use another bathroom. This one's taken." Before he finished speaking, the other person said, "Long time no see. Hello?" He turned around, not recognizing who this was. "Who are you?" "A transfer student. Looks like you don't know who we are." Chun Chen entered. The gentle students in the back stepped out. "I'm responsible for cleaning the bathroom, but why is there so much trash today?" The guy on the red list stepped forward. "What nonsense are you talking about?" "Kid, do you want to die? You're only a little taller than me and dare to be arrogant." Chun grabbed his hair and gently said, "That's right." Then without hesitation punched him straight in the face. The guy fell foaming at the mouth, unconscious. The others looked confused, not understanding what was happening. Chun shouted, "Go out quickly!" But everyone was too scared to move. Then the bullies ran out of the bathroom. Jun Shok tried to pull back when he saw them all running away. "Where are you guys going?" But before he could grab anyone, Chun kicked him hard, sending him flying into the wall with a loud crash. His gang angrily charged, but Chun easily dodged, then punched one in the waist, making him scream in pain. The blue-haired guy recklessly rushed in, but ended up no better. Chun grabbed his collar, pulled him back hard, then dropped him, making him collapse onto the floor. Chun's action didn't stop. He narrowed his eyes in fear before the decisive punch. He crouched down, Jun Shok was worried when he saw such a strong figure appear. He muttered, "Who the hell are you? Are you involved in this?" Chun didn't answer, but charged forward, grabbing his neck and pressing him against the wall. Jun Shok trembled, begging for mercy. Chun coldly said to him, "Jun Shok, go away." Jun Shok, face red and strained, struggled to say something. Chun replied, "I've already started, fight me again." That afternoon, when Shok went up to the rooftop of the school building and looked around, he saw no one. He muttered, "What's going on? Why is no one here?" He said there was an urgent matter. But just as he was about to call, Jun Shok received a call. A panicked voice rang out, "Kai Shok, where are you?" Ki Shok replied, "Me senior called me to his place, but I don't see anyone here." "What did you say, who?" Jun Shok, with a bloodied face, struggled to say, "Se Chunk is on his way to you now." Ki Shok was surprised. "What's wrong with your voice? And who is that guy?" Before he could finish, hearing the door in front of Ki Shok slammed open, hitting his nose hard. Ki Shok staggered and fell to the ground, holding his bleeding nose, angrily cursing, "Who the hell is this crazy guy?" Chun stood there, looking down with a casual expression. "Sorry, I didn't know you were standing there." Ki Shok frowned. "Are you the one who called me to the rooftop?" Chun asked coldly, "You okay? Actually, I hope you don't live in peace." He challenged, "So what are you going to do? You want to kiss me, you bastard?" As soon as he finished speaking, he got up and moved towards Chun. But before Jun Shok could say anything, he took a punch straight to the face. He was momentarily surprised, but with his years of fighting experience, he managed to dodge in time. Chun thought he dodged that hit too. Despite his battered face, Ki Shok still smiled disdainfully. "Lost some weight, huh?" He threw a few moves. "You think you can beat me?" While he was still arrogant, Chun continued to punch him. Ki Shok angrily shouted, "I was still talking." Then he charged and fought back. "I'll beat you to death this time. Next year will be your death anniversary." Chun carefully observed his opponent's moves and realized he wasn't truly skilled in standing techniques. So he quickly raised his elbow and slammed it hard into Ki Shok's head. Even though he had the advantage, Chun remained cautious. He noticed Ki Shok only had quick reflexes but lacked advanced technique. Ki Shok, now wildly agitated, cursed and lunged to grab Chun's leg, but this move was anticipated. Just waiting for the exact moment, Chun raised his leg and knee struck his head. The strong blow sent Ki Shok flying several meters away. The sound of his fall caused a big impact. After the fight, Chun adjusted his tie and sarcastically said, "Not bad, you guys can still endure it, but your two front teeth just fell out." Ki Shok gritted his teeth in resentment. "You bastard, if you're so good, come at me." Chun silently looked at the wounded man who still tried to keep a tough face on the ground. He recalled the hard days of training, remembered being choked by Aizen and forced to surrender, but he still tried to break free. After escaping, Chun panted, coughed, and wondered, "Will this really help me? I should have learned joint lock techniques or choking moves in martial arts instead." But Aizen explained that these were all techniques to help him get into advantageous positions to break through an opponent's defense. What he had trained so far were just the most basic knowledge within the defense system. He needed to understand this system well, so that from any stance he could read more moves and apply more techniques. Then he would decide the right moment to apply a tightening hold on the opponent. Aizen rolled over and said, "Again, let's keep practicing." "But will this situation really happen in real life? Won't we counterattack first?" Aizen lay down and replied, "Of course we have to practice counterattacks, but in reality, when the opponent is still warming up, it's difficult to accurately grasp their moves." Chun excitedly asked, "So what should I do?" Aizen explained, "You need to create a strategy not just with jujutsu, but also with mixed martial arts. The opponent can push you back with a single strike due to the weight difference. If they know you've learned jujutsu, they'll try to pull you down to the ground. When blocked, use your knee to warn them. The opponent will have no choice but to be blocked and counterattack. The defense system is the essence of jujutsu. The lying down defensive posture is a trap for those who haven't learned jujutsu, so you have to hide the fact that you've learned jujutsu." Chun nodded in understanding. "Yes. So after making the opponent lie down, we will proceed with the defense system as practiced right." Aizen shook his head. "You missed an important part." Chun asked in surprise, "What part?" Aizen calmly replied, "The thigh." Remembering this advice, Chun aimed at Ki Shok's thigh. He stepped forward close to the opponent and punched hard into his thigh. Chun recalled Aizen's words, "You have to kick that spot really hard." When Ki Shok was struck, he cried out in pain. Chun didn't stop continuing to move and grasped the opponent's heel firmly. Ki Shok looked alarmed at this move. Chun kicked his leg to the side, then aimed again at the thigh with a strong kick, making him shout in pain. He lifted one leg onto Kisok's chest, gripping his waist tightly. Kisok groaned, "Where did you learn jujutsu?" Chun silently looked at the man lying on the ground. He realized that compared to Aizen, this guy had too many vulnerabilities. Kisok's voice interrupted his thoughts. "Is that Hachi? That guy who acts all tough like he knows a little jujutsu like you?" Hearing that, Chun was startled. "What? Say that again." Kisok lay on the cold ground, his tone full of sarcasm. At first he acted so fierce, but after a few hits he was whining non-stop like a lost dog. Hearing about Hachi being beaten, Chun couldn't hold back his anger. Just as he was about to raise his fist, Kisok continued, "Oh right, you didn't answer his call that day, right? I told him that if he could lure you here, I wouldn't attack anymore, but you didn't pick up, so irresponsible." Those words made Chun's heart sink. The image of Hachi coldly acting like he didn't want to see him appeared in his mind. Just as Chun was panicking and unprepared, Kisok lifted him up, causing Chun to lose balance. Then Kisok kicked hard into his thigh and quickly counterattacked, pushing Chun to the ground. Chun cried out in pain, realizing he had been too careless and needed to defend quickly. When Sok jumped up to stomp hard on Chun's chest, seeing his defensive stance, he hesitated a bit. However, he kept attacking, cursing non-stop. "How can a bastard like you block this?" He charged at Chun with a flurry of blows. "If you're so good, try blocking this one." "You prefer penalty drinks over invited drinks, huh?" Kisok shouted. "Why don't you take the hits and stay quiet unless you want to be crippled?" But as he yelled, a strong kick landed straight on his face. Kisok screamed in pain, still cursing, frowning as he looked at Chun's stance. He tried to think of a countermeasure, but Chun's strength kept him trapped. Chun spoke coldly, "Stay quiet and live." "What you say makes me sick. People like you are disgusting." As Sok struggled, "Stop talking nonsense and let me go." But Chun didn't let go, his voice full of warning. "Not just you, all those who made Hachin like this, I will deal with each one." Bam Chun kicked hard, causing Kisok to stagger, then quickly pinned him to the ground. In Kisok's mind, alarms rang to counterattack, but he couldn't lift the thigh that had just been kicked. Chun sat upright on him, eyes cold. Kisok panicked. "Wait, stop, something about those moves just now isn't right." But Chun didn't miss the chance, delivering a terrifying punch straight to Kisok's face. "A near-wide Chun vehicle Ha-Chin is just a weak person who doesn't deserve what you did. I will pay back 100 times to trash like you." In the quiet campus of the school, no one suspected that a life-and-death confrontation was happening on the rooftop. Here, Chun vehicle strikes repeatedly until his hands are soaked with blood. Kisok has reached his limit, raising his hands to cover his face, begging repeatedly. "Please, my left eye seems to be having problems." But Chun vehicle still doesn't stop. He grits his teeth and says, "Go on, who made Ha-Chin end up like this?" Kisok keeps denying. "What are you talking about? How would I know such a small thing?" The guy uses a wrist lock technique to pin Kisok down. Kisok screams in pain, "My hand's about to break." The bastard Chun vehicle coldly replies, "Looks like your brain's a bit slow, so I'll explain briefly. Now you only have two choices. One, confess all those involved. I'll spare you. Two, I'll send your shoulder to meet heaven. Fine. I give you 3 seconds. If you don't answer, it's option 2. Kisok panics. "Did he just call me trash? You got a lot of money. Can you handle the consequences?" Chun vehicle sneers. "When you did that to Ha-Chin, did you think about the consequences?" Kisok, scared, realizes Chun vehicle won't hold back. Chun vehicle starts counting down. His grip tightens. Kisok finally reveals it was Sun Jo-hun. Chun vehicle doubts. "Who is Sun Jo-hun?" Kisok explains, "A senior from year 3. He was with us. He begged you to let go back then." "It hurts." Chun vehicle asks again, "Is Sun Jo-hun the leader?" Kisok nods. "Yes, I've already confessed. Let me go." But Chun vehicle just laughs coldly. "There's more, isn't there?" He continues to squeeze Kisok's hand. When Kisok cries out in pain, "I know. Let me talk. There are a few guys from other schools, too. We called that girl to a multi-school student meeting. I'm just a small fry. The senior probably knows more." At that moment, the rooftop door opens. The angry teacher shouts, "What are you kids doing here? Trying to act tough or what, not scared?" He points at Chun vehicle. "Hey, Kia, are you crazy? Let go immediately." Seeing the advantage, Kisok sneers, "What now? Your life's about to be over. Everyone sees me as the victim. You think you've won, you lost. Your life ends here." But unexpectedly, Chun vehicle not only releases him, but also kicks him once more. He looks down at Kisok, determined to see it through to the end, to know whose life really ends. Meanwhile, in the teacher's room, an angry man speaks up. Is that still a student? A thug, not a student. The principal sweats, trying to calm him. Sir, please calm down first. The disciplinary council will review this matter. However, the man impatiently interrupts the principal. Look at him. Principal, I don't care what the disciplinary council is. Expel that kid immediately. Chun Vehicle stands in a corner, still thinking about the meeting with students from other schools. They even have a gang. He realizes he needs to recover his strength first before investigating Sun Jo-hun. The angry man points at Chun Vehicle's face. Delinquent criminals like this need to be isolated from society before they harm others. Just then his wife enters, worried. Honey, how's the boy? She frowns and walks straight past without a second glance. The husband, displeased, scolds, I'm talking here and you just ignore me like that. She heads straight to where Chun Vehicle is standing, raising her hand to slap him while yelling, Trash like you, how dare you do that? But as the slap is about to land, Chun Vehicle reflexively blocks her hand, causing her to lose balance and fall backward. Both the principal and the husband standing nearby stare in shock. Her arm trembles in pain as she yells, What's this? You punk, do you know who I am? Chun Vehicle calmly replies, Aren't you Lee Ki-seok's parent? At that moment, Chun Vehicle's father also arrives just in time. He runs over and asks, Are you okay, son? Do you have any broken bones? Chun gently replied, I'm fine, just a few scratches. But the father remained worried. If you get hurt, I'll be worried sick. I'm afraid you'll be seriously injured. Lee Ki-seok's father, standing nearby, mocked, What kind of man is that with such messy, unkempt hair? If he's a father like that, it's no wonder his son is so rude, right? The principal's wife wasn't going to be outdone, turning to Zai-chun's father. Hey, Mr. Kia, are you angry with us now? My son is injured and you're the one lying in the emergency room over there. Hearing this, Zai-chun's father politely responded, Sorry, ma'am, I was in such a rush I forgot to ask about you. But Ki-seok's mother would not let it go, walking away. We have no intention of compromising. You better prepare yourself for your son to get expelled. Zai-chun's father was surprised. What are you saying? Principal, what's going on here? The principal wiped sweat and explained, This is about the huge difference in the severity of injuries. And when we discovered Zai-chun was acting violently unilaterally, a disciplinary committee on school violence will be convened. But don't get your hopes up too high. Zai-chun's father bowed his head sincerely. I sincerely apologize for your son's serious injury. I would like to apologize in advance. But can we hear the full story leading up to this fight before proceeding with disciplinary action and possible compromise conditions? Before he could finish, Mrs. Kia pointed her finger angrily. Compromise what? That damn brat needs to be locked up immediately. Once she grew more agitated. That thug doesn't know his place, daring to lay a hand on my son. Hearing the words, thug, Zai-chun's father could no longer hold back. He looked up with angry eyes. Stop opening your mouth to call him thug this and thug that. Show some respect. I have my limits on how much I can tolerate. Her husband, seeing his wife speechless from being insulted, spoke up. Hey, Mr. Kia, what's with that attitude? Even if you kneel and beg, it won't change anything, so why act high and mighty? You look no different than those lazy good-for-nothings. Do you even know who I am? Hearing his father insulted, Zai-chun couldn't stand still. He tried to step forward but was stopped by his father. Mr. Kia continued shouting, Do you know how close I am with the principal here? That thug doesn't even need a disciplinary committee. Just follow my order and expel him immediately. The principal standing nearby also exclaimed, Honestly, what's going on in this guy's head? Why does he randomly say things like that here? Zai-chun's father asked in surprise, You're trying to use your connections. Then he picked up his phone to call someone. Kia was displeased. Hey, someone's talking here. What are you doing? You're acting like an uncultured fool. When the phone rang, a voice said, Author Lim, why are you calling me first? The principal immediately became very scared. Zai-chun's father spoke, Yes, how are you? I've been busy lately preparing for the exhibition. It's nothing much. I just wanted to ask you a favor, Mr. Chairman. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, wait a moment. Then he turned to the principal. The chairman wants to speak with you. The other parent, still unaware of what was happening, shouted, Hey, it looks like an uneducated guy like you is trying to use connections, right? But when he looked at the principal, he saw his face pale and trembling. Everything calmed down for the moment. When his father waited for him to come home, Chun sat in the back sincerely. Sorry, Dad. It's because of me that you had to do this. You never liked that chairman anyway. His father didn't care, just asked if his recent training had anything to do with this, and also about Hachi's matter. Seeing him hesitate, he continued, It's okay whenever you want, you can tell me. He smiled. But violent sons never do the right thing. You understand that, right? Yes. Chun bowed his head and replied, Yes, I know, but why aren't you angry at me, Dad? The father pondered for a moment, then replied slowly, Because I believe you had a good reason to act that way, and I promised your mother I would never scold you without cause. The next day when Chun entered the martial arts training room, everyone was shocked to see the injuries on his face. They couldn't help but ask, Where have you been disappearing to these past few days? Who hit you? And you just got here now. Hi. I was riding a motorcycle with my dad and fell off. I'm sorry, everyone. Some people in the group chatted. You were supposed to take photos before and after to make flyers, but I guess that has to be postponed. Just go deliver the orders, only a few more nights to go. Are you hurt anywhere else? You've lost your handsome looks. Another person stepped forward to ask, Are you okay? Is your dad hurt anywhere? Chun smiled. Luckily, my dad only has some bruises. Sorry for making everyone worry. Finally, the teacher standing nearby spoke up. Chun, I wonder if I've told you yet. Chun looked confused, not understanding what the teacher was referring to. Huh. The teacher looked at him seriously. Anyone who uses jujitsu outside the arena will be a loser for life. Teacher, if faced with an unavoidable situation, then self-defense or protecting someone else is all you can do. Yes, I understand. Those around were impressed by the teacher's sternness. Teacher's so cool looks really attractive. The teacher turned to them and asked, You guys think that's cool? And they gave a thumbs up. Even if you lose for life, you're still the best teacher. Then they imitated the teacher's gesture, or you have to protect someone else. The teacher shook his head, unable to hold back a laugh. All right, enough. Now let's move on to the next technique. Everyone drinks a glass of water, then spar 6 rounds, each round 5 minutes. The teacher walked over to check on Chun. Are you okay? Do you need to rest for a bit? Chun shook his head. I'm fine, not seriously injured or anything. The teacher nodded. Then I'll go easy on you a bit just in case. Chun smiled. Teacher, no need to go easy on me, just fight with your usual full strength. The teacher agreed. All right, I'll do as you say. Then the teacher charged at Chun using both hands to control and bend his wrist backward, then applied a chokehold to cut off oxygen to the brain, causing the opponent to faint. The teacher continued using both hands and legs to pin Chun's arm, then used hip strength to bend his arm following the principle of lever 7. Then Chun struggled with all his might. Seeing his powerful fist, the teacher was surprised. You're really strong. Is strength the true principle after all? But then Chun gave a thumbs up, and the teacher knew he had been caught. Right at that moment, the round ended. Afterwards, Chun lay exhausted on the ground and asked, Why do I feel like I'm the only one tired? He laughed and replied, My motor nerves aren't that good either. You're probably catching up to me soon. At this point, Chun wondered, But why isn't Aizen here today? Meanwhile, Aizen was busy handing out flyers. Everyone was diligently advertising. Chun continued, I've been wondering for a long time, why are there only 3 students here? Advertising is frequent, and this place is really good. The teacher is great, and the atmosphere is friendly. He thought for a bit and answered, Actually, when I first came here, there were a lot of students. Turning to smile at Chun, he admitted, Suddenly, the number dropped drastically. Oh, and how's Hachin doing lately? Have you contacted her yet? No. Chun bowed his head. I haven't dared to contact her. I don't know if I'm worthy. He looked at Chun and said, Turns out she's still blaming herself for what happened that day, still unsure if she should talk to you. Do you know when Hachin talks about you? The moment she steps into the gym, when she changes into her uniform during breaks at the end of class, even when she leaves and says goodbye to everyone. If she had to wait for just one person, that person is definitely you. Hearing this, Chun looked up with a passionate gaze, and he continued. Do you know, maybe right now Ha-chin is waiting for you, reaching out her hand to you. Meanwhile, in a deserted building, Ki-shok was kneeling. A man sitting on a chair looked displeased. So you didn't collect enough money. Ki-shok tried to explain, I couldn't come to school a few days because suddenly a saboteur appeared. Then continued, do you remember the girl named Ha-chin last time? The skilled martial artist girl. This guy is her boyfriend. He lost weight and came back, said he'd get revenge on us. The other man stepped forward. Is that so? Is that what you mean? But how many training sessions have you attended this month? While speaking, he took off his jacket. Ki-shok felt something was off and asked, why are you suddenly taking off your jacket? The other said, you take yours off too. We haven't trained together in a while. Let me check your ability. After a while, Ki-shok was punched by the boss until his mouth bled. Ki-shok covered his bloody mouth, but the boss still stepped forward. I lost, senior. Can you stop now? Why are you saying such unpleasant things? You have to knock someone out for good before stopping. Then he swung a strong punch to Ki-shok's ribs, making him widen his eyes and shout, Big boss, your technical eye has really gotten worse. Then he swung another punch downward, causing Ki-shok to fall face first to the ground, unconscious, foaming at the mouth. Yes, the big boss took off his gloves and called out, Hey, Jin-sok! Jun-sok's face showed panic as he quickly replied, Yes, senior, you called me. He slowly wiped his glove's voice, full of threat. Tomorrow, if you're smart, you'll know to gather the money and bring it to me, or you'll have to drag that thing Ki-shok mentioned here. Got it, Jun-sok? Jun-sok nodded tremblingly. Yes, sir, I understand. He draped his jacket over his shoulders, turned his back, and threw in one more sentence. If you can't do either, I'll give you a sparring match. Sweat poured from Jun-sok's face as he muttered, I'm dead for sure, this time I'm done. At the hospital, a figure stood in front of the gate. It turned out to be Chun. He suddenly noticed Ha-chin limping along with his mother. Ha-chin's mother worriedly asked if he was sure he was okay or if she should wait here. She was surprised to see Chun and hurriedly greeted him. Chun, is that you? Chun shyly scratched his head and bowed. Yes, hello, ma'am. It's been so long since I last saw everyone. Ha-chin's mother waved her hand and smiled lightly. Oh my, if I hadn't seen the photo your dad sent, I wouldn't have recognized you. You came early, have you eaten yet? Jin glanced at Chun, who quickly replied, Yes, I just ate some chicken breast. It's been a long time, hasn't it, Jin? Ha-jin brushed past Chun and whispered, If you want coffee, follow me. Both Chun and Ha-jin's mother were surprised by her attitude. Wow, that's really speechless. Chun wondered, Why is that? Ha-jin's mother laughed. Heard you came this morning. She prepared carefully, trying to act natural like a lead actress in a movie, still trying to look elegant despite being sick. No wonder she's Ha-chin. I cut to the coffee shop. Chun asked how she had been, if rehab was tough. Ha-chin crossed her arms indifferently. Not too bad. She grimaced. But the weather was crazy or something. She even got lost herself. That was scary. Chun broke into a sweat. Sorry. I'm sorry for not contacting you for so long. I had a lot to deal with. And I also studied jujitsu at the dojo you used to go to. Ha-chin remained indifferent. Yeah, I know, everyone misses you. She turned away and whispered, Of course you're their only vitamin after all. How could they not want you here? Chun asked further, Are you still going to school? Ha-chin replied, No, although I regret not having a perfect transcript. I don't want to repeat a year, so I plan to graduate now. Chun laughed. What's there to regret about your transcript? Ha-chin angrily pointed at him. What's that supposed to mean? My transcript is 1,000 times better than yours, you fat pig. Chun laughed happily. I know I agree with your plan, but I can't agree with that pig remark. Ha-chin suddenly blushed and turned away shyly. Okay, suit yourself. Chun pondered deeply. Luckily, she looks better than I imagined. According to the police officer, Ha-chin barely remembers anything from that day. She lost part of her memory due to severe emotional shock, but has the potential to recover gradually. So Chun wondered if she has recalled anything yet. His thoughts were interrupted when Ha-chin turned to ask, Why are you staring like that? He was embarrassed, unsure whether to ask her about that day. Before he could speak, a loud noise startled them both. What was that? Who slammed the door so hard? It turned out to be a guy who had shut the bathroom door too forcefully. Sorry, I slipped. It's okay. Chun looked back at Ha-chin. You were startled too, right? He worried when he saw her expression. Ha-chin was trembling, holding her head and bowing over the table. Ha-chin, what's wrong? She only murmured a few words. Chun hurried to her side. It's okay, it was just the door noise. He held the trembling Ha-Chin. It's okay, it's okay. But before he could finish, Ha-Chin suddenly shouted, Don't touch me! He startled and pulled his hand back. Sorry. She still trembled, holding her head and calling for her mom. Chun replied, I know. He realized that although Ha-Chin looked okay to him, that was just his wishful thinking. Back at school, Jun-Sok turned around looking for someone angrily shouting at another student. You dare joke with me! I told you to hand over the money quickly or you're dead for sure. He frowned. I've let you off a few times already. Don't make me punch you 6 times like I said. Suddenly, a tall figure appeared behind him. It was Chun. He called out loudly, Hey, you know Sun Do-hun from class 23, right? He turned pale and replied, Yeah, of course I know him. Chun leaned close to his face. Take me to that guy immediately. In the classroom, Do-hun was diligently writing something when a student called out to him. Today we're planning to hang out with some girls, and with you, it makes a perfect pair you in. Do-hun refused. No, after class, I have to train. The entrance exam is coming up. Your grades are weak anyway. What's the point of trying now? Do-hun kept studying better not to study at all. While they were talking, the classroom door was kicked open hard. Everyone stunned as Jun-Sok was kicked and fell rolling on the ground. Senior, I've already brought him here. Before he could finish, Chun stepped in and said, Hello, seniors. Do you know if that bastard Sun Do-hun is here? The others were shocked by his bold words. What did you say? Aren't you just a second year? Do-hun lifted his head and stared at him. Chun quickly stepped up to him. It's you, son. Do-hun, right? The guy next to him shouted, You arrogant punk, you don't respect the seniors at all, do you? Do-hun spoke up. All right, stop it. But the others insisted we can't just let kids like these run wild. Then he turned and nervously asked, You're the one who beat up Ki-sok, right? So why did you come here looking for me? Chun said slowly. Tell me everything that happened with Ha-Chin that day. Do-hun was confused. Who's Ha-Chin? Be clear about it. Chun raised his phone. Don't even think about denying it. I recorded the part where Ki-sok mentioned your name. Hearing that, he frowned. So you're planning to go to the police station? You think that can be used as evidence? Just from that alone, not even considering anything else. Knowing your name was mentioned at the police station will make your situation extremely difficult. Fine, Chun warned. But I don't want to get involved with the police either. You know why. Then he glared at Do-hun because I'll find each one of you and deal with you myself. Hearing this, Do-hun looked confused, then laughed loudly. Ha ha ha! Listen to this bastard. Hey, I like you already. All right, I'll tell you everything I know honestly, but nothing in this world is free. You know that. Lately, because you've been in the way. The second years can't get anything done properly, so whatever that guy is afraid of is probably something you have to finish for him. I don't care if you throw a fit or whatever, just collect the full amount of money and bring it to me, then I'll give you the answer you want. Okay. Chun would never do that. So he leaned close to his ear. You crazy bastard. Do you think I do the kind of stuff only you thugs do? But Do-hun was completely calm. If you don't like it, then try taking me on once like you said if you're confident enough. As soon as he finished speaking, he threw a kick. Chun was stunned and hadn't reacted yet, and just as the fist lightly touched his cheek, Do-hun stopped. Do-hun challenged. If you win against me in a fight, I'll answer you. How's that? He looked into Chun's furious eyes. Looks like you chose the second option, huh? Then he stood up. But what could he do now? It wasn't really a good time. Just then the teacher entered the classroom. Do-hun put his arm around Chun's shoulder and led him outside while saying basically, I don't have time now, so tomorrow you'll answer me. Got it, dear Junior? On the way home after school, a friend of Yo-hoon put an arm around him and teased, Hey, Yo-hoon, are you really not going? A girl said she wanted to see you. But Do-hun flatly refused. I already said I'm not going. But the other person still wouldn't give up. It's just one day you should buy new clothes. What do you spend your money on after you earn it? Do-hun replied, Why do I need new clothes? I train every day already. Just then, your phone received a message from your mom telling you to sleep at a friend's place because the debt collectors were back. Do-hun stared at the message while the other friend kept trying to persuade him. This guy must have gone crazy from training. But at that moment, Do-hun's expression changed. I feel a bit sorry, but you guys will have to cancel today's meeting. Meanwhile, Jun-Sok was on his way home recalling what had just happened when he met Yo-hoon, realizing that Yo-hoon was no ordinary guy. His punch was so fast that Junshok only noticed it when it was about to hit his face. That speed gave him no time to sense the preparation or the threat of the punch. Could he be training in boxing, Junshok wondered? He always trusted his eyesight, but that speed was so fast he thought he might pass out before he could use jujutsu techniques. Chun hesitated, wondering if he should ask Mr. Eisen whether he would guide him. While lost in thought, a call came from the martial arts room. Chun answered, but several thugs were already in front of him. "You punk, I waited all this time and you didn't show up. I thought you took another route." Chun looked closely at the men in front of him and asked, "May I ask who you guys are?" Hearing that the thugs got angry, "Don't you remember me?" Chun asked, "But why are you looking for me?" At that moment, Do-hun appeared behind him. "It's because I have some business." Chun panicked and immediately stepped back. Seeing his reaction, Do-hun said, "Don't be afraid, I'm not going to attack from behind. It's nothing serious, just need to get your answer soon. If you want to fight, I'll settle it today and end the debt collection smoothly tomorrow." Johan's attitude confused Chun. What is this? How could he say those words so calmly? Then he said, "Are you afraid others won't know you're a thug? Why are you backing out so fast?" Chun laughed. "Anyway, the answer is already decided, so when you say it doesn't really matter. Don't tell me you plan to gang up 3 against 1. But Do-hun sat down, took something out of his bag while looking for it, and said, "No, don't worry, just wait a moment." "What are you doing?" Do-hun put on gloves and confidently said, "Don't worry about this, just fight like usual. I'm afraid if I fight you barehanded and accidentally kill you." After saying that, he quickly got into a ready stance. But in the alley where the incident took place, Chun felt confused hearing that. Are there really people like this in the world? Do-hun asked, "Ready if yes, let's start." As soon as he finished speaking, he rushed forward at an incredible speed, so fast that it was hard for the naked eye to follow, and threw a straight punch at Chun. Chun gritted his teeth in surprise. He didn't understand how Do-hun could move so fast with that body. Before he could adapt to the speed, Do-hun turned and punched his side, causing Chun to wince in pain. Before he could counterattack or defend, Chun saw a finger jab flying straight at his face, but luckily his quick reflexes helped him dodge. Johan was a bit surprised that Chun managed to block his hit. Chun's successful dodge only made Johan more fired up. He kept attacking relentlessly, giving his opponent no chance to fight back. At the right moment, Johan decided to end the fight with a powerful punch, carefully observing every move of Chun, waiting for the perfect opening. Johan looked down, thinking he had won, but then changed his mind, deciding not to end it like that. Chun staggered forward, almost out of strength. He fell against Do-hun and whispered in his ear, "You're really fast." Then suddenly, Chun hugged Do-hun tightly. Do-hun was surprised. "Why are you hugging me like this?" "What's going on?" Chun thought. Do-hun was a professional boxer wearing gloves. If he attacked, he could gain an advantage. But unexpectedly, Do-hun slammed his shoulder hard into Chun's side, making him dizzy. Do-hun said coldly, "Lately, many people think jujitsu or wrestling are the strongest martial arts in real combat. Do you know why?" He kept ramming his shoulder into Chun's head, causing him to collapse to the ground. Do-hun looked down from above and explained, "It's because they haven't been seriously beaten by anyone yet, so they think that way." Here, Chun had no strength left to resist blood flowing from his mouth. Do-hun continued, "It is simple, whoever is stronger wins. I won't bother you anymore, so don't get involved in our business. And about what happened to Ha-chin? I'm really sorry. I heard that with rehab training there won't be any problems anymore, so just consider it unlucky that he stepped on some crap." Chun almost lunged forward, eyes full of anger. "Don't use your filthy mouth to talk about Ha-chin. If I gave up at this level, I wouldn't have started at all." As soon as he finished speaking, he headbutted Do-hun straight on. The strong headbutt made Do-hun stagger back a few steps, surprising him. "You still have so much strength after being attacked like that. Is this your last effort?" Do-hun immediately lowered his center of gravity and prepared to counterattack. Seeing this move, Chun panicked, gripping his shoulder tightly, voice full of sarcasm. "Stubborn like you won't solve anything. Big fish eats little fish. If you don't understand, just memorize it. Even if the world changes for the better, its nature remains the same. The fact that you can't get any information out of me is the clearest proof. Take a few days to rest." With all his strength, Do-hun launched the final blow, but at that moment, something unexpected happened that left even his gang stunned. What's going on? Even Do-hun was confused when Aizen suddenly appeared and blocked the blow for Chun. The powerful punch distorted Aizen's face. The two students standing nearby laughed. What are you doing? Why is your face turning red? After taking the full hit, Aizen said, that guy's punch is really fast. Do-hun stood to the side, surprised. That's strange. My punch was precise. So how is he still completely fine? Our Do-hun's gang immediately charged forward. Who are you guys? Why are you interfering in our business? Don't you know how scary kids are these days? The cold glare and the gang member holding his shoulder made him falter. Oh my God, someone's about to die. The gang member quickly let go. I wasn't doing anything to you. Hey everyone, come see these brat kids fighting adults. Passers-by gathered, whispering. Then Aizen stepped closer to Do-hun, staring and asking, what exactly are you human? Aizen calmly replied, why am I still perfectly fine after your punch? Aizen glanced over with disdain. Because it's no different from the punch of my 7-year-old nephew. But Do-hun suddenly realized many people around were recording and taking pictures. To avoid trouble, he decided to leave. See you soon. But Aizen called him back. Hey, Do-hun, what's going on? Planning to keep fighting. Before he could finish, 2 police officers arrived. Aizen stood behind and said, it's not that. Someone's here to pick you up. At the police station, the group gathered there. After hearing the report, the officer asked, you guys weren't really fighting, just sparring. Their expressions made the officers seem to understand the situation. Do-hun hurried to explain, you saw me wearing gloves earlier. I've heard the perpetrator's statement, but the victim's statement is even more important. Let me hear what he says before deciding whether to contact the school. Hearing this, Do-hun was alarmed. Big trouble. If this case proceeds, not only will the money collection be affected, but also my competitions. Not sure it's that bad. That kid doesn't want to get involved with the police either. Besides, he still needs something from me, so he definitely won't snitch. But just then, Chun's voice sounded nearby. That's not true. I'm the victim of one-sided violence. Hearing that, everyone turned to look at him. Everything ended quickly, and Do-hun was suspended from school. After it was all over, Aizen took Chun home. They stopped at a convenience store by the roadside. Aizen turned and asked, are you planning to keep pursuing that case? That guy from earlier is also involved in Ha-chin's matter, right? You dug up old stuff and that's why the fight happened, right? Caught on a sore spot, Chun stammered, unsure how to respond. Seeing this, Aizen got angry. Why do you always end up fighting every time you go after those involved in that matter? Looking at that guy, I don't think he's someone who's only been training for a few months. No matter how good your motor nerves are, that guy is at a pro level. You plan to face someone like that on your own, just based on learning jujitsu for 2 to 3 months. I hope you stop before he beats you up even worse. Besides, I heard that police uncle is still investigating. If you're patient and wait a while, there will definitely be an announcement. But Chun interrupted Aizen. That's not the case. This matter isn't related to the investigation. Ha-chin is still suffering. I will use my own way to protect Ha-chin. I will find every clue and take back everything they've done, so they won't be smirking anymore. Aizen glanced at him and sighed. We didn't get any training done today, and you even turned off the instant noodles. Get up and run 20 kilometers. Hearing that some noodles in Chun's mouth got choked out and he panicked. Now, it's a daily routine. Meanwhile, at Do-hun's house, he stared at the notification he just received on his phone. The notification said he had been disqualified from the competition for not paying the full fee, and the police had taken up the case. Suddenly, a tattooed guy snatched the phone from Do-hun's hand, yelling, you little punk! Adults are talking and you keep staring at your phone like that. Seeing his action, Do-hun rolled his eyes. This attitude made the other guy even angrier. You're at it again, you little brat. I told you once already, don't roll your eyes at me like that. Get rid of that look, but Do-hun was stubborn and refused to listen. Seeing Do-hun not obeying, the other guy laughed loudly. This kid is as stubborn as us. He sat down and said, listen, Do-hun, obey me. But isn't it better to learn the job and pay off your debt at the same time? Why always choose the hard way? If you come with me, you'll get employee benefits and I won't charge you interest anymore. You should think about yourself. Your father died, leaving your mom and siblings abandoned. Your life is already at rock bottom. What else do you have to lose? Use your strengths to survive. What you do by robbing students is no different from this. Besides, my job is legal. This time you won't get a penny and your mom will get fired again. So what now? Want to work with me or want me to find a good job for your mom? Yes, after he said that. Do-hun gritted his teeth and replied, Next month I will pay both this month and last month. The other guy doubted. You say you'll pay 2 months at once, what if you can't? Do-hun reluctantly accepted. Then I'll do as you ask. Hearing that he was satisfied, okay, approved. A while later, Do-hun gathered his gang in a street corner when Sok timidly said, Sorry, I did some useless stuff. But before he could finish, Do-hun snapped, Shut up. If you want to join next month's competition this time, you have to collect money properly. When Chun goes back to school, I'll deal with him. Before that, I'll take care of that tall, long-haired guy training at the dojo with him. Meanwhile, at Aizen's dojo, for the first time, he dressed neatly, surprising everyone. So cool first time seeing Aizen wearing a shirt. What's up? Do you have an important appointment today? You probably have a date with a girl, right? Everyone gathered around asking. Aizen was speechless and explained, Yeah, I have a date with an old colleague probably coming back late today. Everyone start warming up. The teacher is almost here. Hearing Aizen say he'd be late, everyone was happy, saying if he doesn't come back, they'd understand. Then Aizen set off to the appointment. Kia's people were calling him, urging him to hurry. While on the phone, suddenly, a sweaty guy ran up, trembling, and said, Sir, please help me. My friend is being attacked in the alley. Please help. Seeing the urgent situation, Aizen couldn't ignore it and said, Lead the way. Kia started plotting this way, go in tonight, then turn left. Kia got to the end of the alley and pointed at a corner. Aizen saw the thugs in front of him and immediately understood the whole situation. Do-hun sat there with a triumphant smile. Hello, sir. I told you we'd meet again, didn't I? Thanks to you reporting to the police, I'm now trapped with no way out. This time I have to play dirty once to satisfy my grudge. A sneaky guy stood behind, raising a stick, intending to hit Aizen from behind. At that moment, a woman appeared, blocking the stick in his hand, leaving everyone watching wide-eyed and stunned. Even Aizen couldn't react in time. The woman, smoking a cigarette, looking cool, said, This guy has such interesting tricks. Saving them to play alone, huh? The guy named Kia tried to snatch the stick back, but failed. Grimacing, said, What are you doing, lady? Kia, take your hand off and go. What business do you have interfering? Hearing lady, she angrily turned and said, I'll give you a chance, call me sister once. Kia still arrogantly said, What's that, lady? As soon as he finished speaking, he took a punch and couldn't say another word. The woman holding this stick sneered, You rude little brat. Didn't your school teach you that hitting someone on the back of the neck with this will cause trouble? Kia, in pain and tears streaming, stammered, Who are you? Are you a teacher or something? Then he cursed. She swung hard across his waist. She said with pleasure, How do you like that? Sounds nice to your ears, right? Your little sister uses this trick really well. Just after saying that, she swung the stick again, hitting him and making him scream, My knee joint! At this moment, the woman took off her glasses, her voice full of authority. Do you know who I am? I'm also a big boss over these punk thugs who just turned good last year, you little brats. Then she raised the stick, pointing at each person one by one. Seeing the situation, Do-hun's gang started sweating nervously. She stood proudly and said, Fighting one by one isn't fun, come at me all at once. Just then, Aizen stepped forward and grabbed her stick. Stop hitting people with that, can kill, it's no joke. Besides, in South Korea, hitting people like that will get you in trouble. She heard this, bit off her cigarette and said disdainfully, What's that? In the time we haven't met, did you become some kind of enlightened Buddha or something? And there aren't any security cameras here anyway. Then she changed the subject. But why are you growing your hair so long? Aizen replied. Because I'm lazy to cut it. Just as he finished speaking, something flew toward Aizen. One of the gang gritted his teeth. Crazy, take it easy, those two are always sticking their noses where they don't belong. You guys are delusional about your strength. Right after saying that, he took a stick to the face from the woman who kept hitting and saying, Here's your delusion of strength with a stick. Kia shocked, his hands trembling, but still stubborn. That crazy girl. I have a stick too. But as soon as she swung past the stick and Kia's hand dropped, his arm looked like it might break. She continued to strike his shin with another hit. Do-hun painfully threw his head back and screamed. The woman calmly spat out her cigarette and said in a casual tone, Now there's just one left. She turned to look at Do-hun with cold eyes, watching Kia's terrified body back off. You're not so sure you don't know who I am. Do-hun, who had been watching her moves all along, now felt terrified. Who is this woman anyway? Her fighting style doesn't resemble any martial art I've ever seen. If I don't put all my strength into fighting back, I'll definitely die. But before he could recover, the woman slipped away and appeared right in front of him. Do-hun widened his eyes in surprise. He gathered all his strength and punched toward her, but it wasn't that easy. The woman lightly jumped up, dodging his attack. She flew backwards jokingly, as a boxer. Where should you hit to land a critical blow? I'm the type who finds it easier to recover physically than mentally. Seeing her disdain, Do-hun grew angrier, gritting his teeth and throwing all his strength into attacks, but none hit. The woman casually dodged as if playing around. When she reached the wall, Do-hun thought to himself, "All right, I've cornered her, now's the time to strike." He swung a powerful punch at her but hit the stick instead while the woman easily avoided it. He panicked, how could this be? Before he could think further, the woman turned and countered with a light but strong strike that knocked Do-hun flat on the ground. She laughed with pleasure. "I saw your punch was pretty hard, so I decided to disable your hand." Do-hun, suffering under pressure, said, "Wait a minute, don't break my joints." The woman laughed happily. "Why not? Do you know what makes me enjoy beating guys like you? Because you're a monster wearing a human mask like zombies in the movies. I can hit you without feeling guilty and even relieve stress." When the woman was about to act, Do-hun excitedly shouted, "No, wait, listen to me first. I have my own troubles, that's why I have to do this." The cold woman replied, "I'm not interested in your sob story, you damn scoundrel. Now I will finish you." "No?" Do-hun shouted. "No, I still have to keep boxing." But at that moment, he was knocked out by Aizen. The woman turned around looking displeased, already unconscious. Aizen asked, "What's going on? We just started getting interesting and he's already out." She stood up, bowed, and said, "I'm happy. Monsters don't care about age, you know that well." Aizen struggled to get up, saying, "I know, let's get out of here quickly." So-hun immediately cheerfully said, "Let's go find something to eat. I'm starving like I'm about to die." Aizen turned and asked, "Do you prefer dinner with wine or just wine with snacks? And did you ask Ma Tai if he found your little sister yet?" So-hun replied, "The investigation documents on that high school girl's violence case. Those documents are as easy as eating porridge, but I don't see anything important in the investigation files. However, just stopping there isn't like me. Let me tell you something interesting. There are 2 sets of investigation documents related to this case. One is still being investigated by the police, while the other has already been concluded, seemingly prearranged. I am 100% certain that some powerful figures are deliberately covering up the clear truth. There's something very dark and unclear about this case. In some corner, a young man covered in blood is sticking out his tongue, face blackened, asking, 'What is this already out cold?' This isn't good." He looked down at the unconscious body on the floor and said coldly, "Out cold already. Sit up, man. What's wrong with you?" He turned toward the camera and asked, "How's the reaction?" The cameraman replied, "Yeah, same as always. No new faces around here lately." Do-hun, the famous student from Do-song School, can't participate this time either. He continued, "So should we start planning a new event? The fight with that girl got a great reaction. That match had so many highlights." The young man wiped the blood off his face with a cloth and asked, "When was that girl's fight?" The cameraman answered, "Don't you remember a few months ago a second-year student at Do-song introduced a girl skilled in jujitsu? You knocked her knee out." The young man said casually, "Who remembers? I probably had to see it to know. How could anyone remember all those wrestling details? The ones whose knees I knocked out weren't just 1 or 2. At a street-side bar, So-hun and Aizen were drinking happily. So-hun downed his glass in one go. Aizen, seemingly drunk, said, "Hey, So-hun, you can stand up now." So-hun slammed the table loudly. "What, we've only had 10 bottles so far, where are you going?" Aizen laughed. "You don't count the 10 bottles we drank on the first floor." So-hun pointed to the sky. "I don't care. Auntie, give me 2 more bottles of soju and some cartilage, too." When the food arrived, So-hun asked, "So basically that kid Chun is now alone avenging Hachin's girl, right?" Aizen nodded. "Right. If we still feel angry, imagine how he must feel in that position. You know well the police don't have evidence, so they can hardly investigate anything." So-hun blushed. "That kid is really romantic, just my type." Aizen teased, "Is that your conclusion?" So-hun happily raised his glass. "Yeah, just like you used to be." Aizen raised his glass, but declined. "No way, I'm not the type to act without a plan." He added, "Besides, that's not even a good way. Revenge like that always ends tragically." Then So-hun suddenly clutched his chest and covered his mouth. "Last time the sweet potato didn't digest well, that's why. But if he just sits still, every moment he goes through is like hell." She recalled her past, thinking, if revenge inevitably leads to hell, should she just tell that kid to stay as he is? Escaping from that hell where every moment must be endured is better, even knowing that in the end it will still lead to another kind of hell. She keeps going what if, with a low probability a good outcome might appear. If you just sit still and do nothing, the probability remains just a percentage. If you were that kid, what do you think is the most necessary thing right now? Think carefully once. Without waiting for Aizen's reply, Sohun turned away. Auntie, can I transfer the money? Auntie, the food is so delicious. Aizen smiled. So you're allowing me to go home now? Sohun replied. What are you saying? You have to go to the third shift. You owe me dinner for the third shift. At a shooting range, Officer Na was practicing shooting skills with fast-moving targets. A young man watching nearby suddenly exclaimed, as expected of Officer Na, a worthy sniper. Officer Na turned and asked, have you investigated what I asked about? The young man replied, yes, that's right. The kid Chun was the victim in the abuse case that Officer Na's father had handled before. Officer Na asked again if the victim was seriously injured. The young man shook his head. Only minor injuries. Therefore, the student who hit him was suspended from school. Officer Na thought for a moment, then said, this kid is probably tracking down those involved in Haechan's case. If left alone, sooner or later, something big will happen in another park. The two exchanged information. One asked if there was any investigation into the residents of the Gold Office building. The other shook his head. The building's cameras were all broken that day, can't identify who came in or out. He continued but didn't. Officer Na get ordered by superiors to just do a cursory job and close this case. Why are you so particularly interested in this case? Officer Na, with a cigarette in his mouth, asked Hyung-sik, why are you determined to become a cop? Hyung-sik laughed. Just for a living. Plus later there's retirement benefits. Officer Na nodded. That's true, but why choose criminal police? It's tough, Hyung-sik replied. But it looks cool, and even if it's hard, it's still better than other fields. Officer Na laughed. So cool my daughter says the same. She says she wants to catch the real bad guys and make them pay for their crimes. He continued. But you know not everything in life follows the rules. If orders from superiors conflict with mine, what would you do? Hyung-sik immediately replied, but Officer Na is also my superior. A few days later, at another location, the gang leader was panting, shouting, don't get up. Next to him was Chun, bloodied, clutching his stomach, lying on the ground. The gang leader continued, stay still, just think that everything is over here and accept giving up. It'll be easier that way. I'm only letting you off this much. If you interfere with me again, I'll fight you barehanded. Chun knelt on the ground, wondering why he couldn't block a single strike. He tried to stand, glanced toward the gang leader. Even if he wanted to use jujitsu to win, if he couldn't grab him, it wouldn't mean anything. The gang leader quickly lunged forward, punching Chun hard in the face. I told you not to get up. Chun fell to the ground, sighed. It's like pouring water on a duck's back. How many times have I told you night was falling at the gym? Two friends anxiously asked Chun, what happened to your face again? Did something happen at school? Chun smiled. I was playing soccer at school and accidentally got hit. That's all. One friend asked, does your dad play Shaolin soccer or something? That's intense. Chun laughed. I like Stephen Chow a bit, so I tried to imitate him. The two friends replied, oh, that explains why you ended up like this. At that moment, the teacher standing behind called loudly, say Chun. He turned around, yes, sir. The teacher looked serious. Come with me, we need to talk. Chun followed the teacher into a room. Aizen watched, but didn't seem very interested. In the room, the teacher asked Chun, how many times has this happened this month already? Are you learning jujitsu just to go out and fight people? If that's the case from today on, you don't need to come to class anymore. If that's not true, please explain clearly to me. Chun just bowed silently. The teacher, frustrated, shouted loudly, if you need help, clearly state the problem so I can request support from the school and the police. I'm sorry, teacher, I will be more careful. While bowing, Chun thought silently, thank you, teacher, for worrying about me. But this is my own battle. The teacher seemed to calm down and said, all right, if you ever need my help, just say so. It's time to dismiss the dojo. The teacher reminded everyone that today has been tough for all. The two friends said goodbye. Chun said, see you tomorrow. Sleep well, Chun, and don't overtrain. Chun waved and replied, yes, sir. You both be careful going home. After they left, Chun drifted into thought. His jujitsu skills weren't that advanced. Before mastering the choke, he'd have to take many hits from that guy. What should I do? While thinking, he suddenly saw Aizen. Aizen asked. Are you really going to go all the way? Chun was surprised. What did you say? Aizen continued. That fight, do you intend to go all the way, even if it exceeds your abilities? Yes, Chun understood. Of course, once I decide something, I'll see it through. If you want me to stop going to the dojo, I will listen. Before he finished, Aizen put a sparring helmet on him. Chun was confused. Why are you putting this on me? At that moment, Aizen threw a punch straight at his face. Chun covered his face with his hand and asked, What are you doing? Aizen stayed in fighting stance and said, What else? We're training to fight outside the dojo. Punches kept landing continuously. Chun was still stunned. What did you say? Aizen replied. That's right. Chun adjusted his gear and asked, So what's the reason? Aizen explained, Even if you throw hundreds of punches at that guy, it's just wasting your energy. Chun asked, Then how can I fight him? Aizen kept throwing strikes. Of course you have to knock him down. Chun defended awkwardly. If I could do that, I would have done it long ago. That guy knows how to defend everything. But Aizen said, That's the problem. You're always overwhelmed because you focus too much on throwing punches. Another punch flew in. Aizen continued wrong. The most important thing in real combat is the threat level of the weapon, the fist. That guy's fists are powerful and fast. His stamina is like a monster's, so he can maintain that strength for a long time. That's the big threat factor. Aizen asked again, What about your weapon? Can it threaten your opponent? Just a few blocks and your energy is drained, making your strikes ineffective, and you get beaten badly. A hook punch landed on Chun's ribs. Chun asked. So what should I do? Aizen replied. Do you know? Chun hit repeatedly said, I don't know. Tell me quickly. Aizen pushed his leg, making him lose balance. Chun asked. Huh? Didn't you just use your fists? Yeah, I just want you to feel it once. Chun tried to keep balance, but Aizen kept pushing harder. Aizen explained. No matter what, fighting ultimately depends on stamina. The attacker needs strength. The defender also expends a lot of energy. He continued, Jackal's stamina is different from grapple lines. You need to pay attention to this. Aizen grabbed Chun's other leg and said, In the end, Chun couldn't resist and fell. He closed his eyes and groaned. Why are you so rough? Aizen released him and stood up. If your opponent only defends his neck and attacks with fists, you do the opposite, defend the fists and attack the neck. Focus only on this. A style that targets only one thing shows the opponent only cares about boxing. Aizen added, Honestly, I can't guarantee you'll win, but just one success can change the whole battle. He took off the protective gear and said, So every night after the teacher finishes, you'll train while taking punches from me. Chun asked. How many a day? Aizen replied. What do you plan to do? Take punches until you can't stand it anymore. But I also know boxing well enough to knock you out. Time passed quickly, day turned into night, but for Chun it felt like a long time. He kept getting beaten by Aizen. No matter how many times he fell, Aizen still made him get up. Do-hun had kept his promise not to touch Chun anymore because he didn't cause trouble. However, every day seeing them laughing and having fun at school, Chun's heart felt constricted. The feeling of helplessness made him even more uncomfortable. But the more it hurt, the more he loved himself every day. After training, Chun still practiced with Aizen and felt he was improving noticeably. During one session, Aizen reminded him to be careful with his knees. Immediately, Aizen's knee pressed close to Chun's face. He quickly reacted, slipped through, and twisted his body to dodge the strike. Aizen looked surprised. Chun seized the chance to lock Aizen's ankle. Aizen turned and asked, What's with that unorthodox movement? You were watching some weird stuff on YouTube again, weren't you? Chun, sweaty-faced, still held the leg lock position. Aizen replied, As long as you pull the opponent to the floor, that's fine, right? He asked again, What now? Start over with standing position or continue fighting in this position. Aizen looked helpless. Chun was surprised when a strong force flipped him backward from the leg lock position. Aizen had reversed the lock. Chun said, Today is Sunday. Let's go eat tteokbokki. Yes, sir. Outside the dojo, it had started to rain. Chun was about to leave. The rain is really heavy. Suddenly, someone called him. His face changed color. He quickly asked Ha-chin, Is something wrong? On the other end, Ha-chin smiled. Hey, why are you rushing to answer the phone like that? She continued, Nothing much, just saw it was raining and thought of you, so I called. But you always forget to bring an umbrella, don't you? Silly. Even though Chun had an umbrella with him, he still answered Ha-chin, How do you know that so well? Today, I also forgot my umbrella at the gym and was planning to run back to get it. She laughed, "Ha, you pig. I knew it would be like that and told you it wouldn't be okay without me." Chun replied, "Heh, true. It really is a bit not okay." Suddenly, both blushed and didn't know what to say. Chin spoke first. "Because of you, I completely forgot. Hey, I'm sorry for snapping at you like that the other day at the coffee shop. You went out of your way to come to my neighborhood. Yet I was going to apologize to you." Chun's face darkened. "What's there to be sorry about? Why do you have to apologize? I'll come visit you again in a few days." Chin waved her hand. "No need. This time I'll come there and also visit the uncles at the gym at once." Chun looked up at the sky, still raining heavily. "Yeah, is that okay? Or should I come pick you up?" Chin giggled. "What are you talking about? Today I'm not useless to that extent. I'll text you the date and time later. I'm hanging up now." "Bye." Chun replied, "I know. You should rest too. Don't overdo it." After taking off her earbuds, Chin looked sad. She held a pen and crossed off her to-do list one called Chun. 2 go out alone, 3 go out alone at night, 4 go to a public place with many people, 5 practice jujutsu again. She exhaled deeply. They say once you start, you've already covered half the journey. She rubbed her head. "Just now I've already done half. Indeed, I'm really strong." At the gym, Chun was panting heavily. Seeing this, Aizen spoke up, "With this level, it's worth trying once." As soon as he said that, he punched Chun's face, but honestly, he couldn't guarantee you'd win against that guy. All he could do was wish luck would be on your side. Chun took off his headgear, but still held some hope, "Right, sir?" Aizen replied, "If you asked me to bet money on one of you, of course I'd bet on the other guy winning." Hearing that he was speechless, "Why are you so harsh on me?" Aizen comforted him. "Anyway, this way still has some chance to win. You're determined. Whatever you say, I think I have to try first. The longer it drags on, the more it feels like something is slipping out of my hands." Aizen tilted his face to the sky. Thought for a moment, then remembered, "Are you good at rock, paper, scissors?" Hearing that Chun was surprised. "Why are you suddenly asking that?" Then he saw Aizen hold out his hand to play. "Come on, try a round with me." Not only that, he said beforehand he would throw rock. In the boxing gym, the sound of fists hitting the punching bag echoed steadily. Du-hun was training hard, clearly dedicating a lot of time to it. When he reached the 10,000th punch, he stopped to rest. Just then, his coach came in and called Do-hun. Hearing the call, Do-hun immediately understood the coach's meaning. "Yes, coach, it's time to clean up after class, right? Today I'll train quickly and leave early. You go ahead." Before he could finish, the coach interrupted. "It's not about that. You've been late on tuition since last month." Du-hun bowed his head apologetically. "I'll definitely pay it all this weekend. I'm sorry, coach." The coach sighed. "That's not so important, but actually someone came here looking for you. Recently, many students have dropped out. The school has taken a big hit. You understand what I mean, right?" Then the coach straightforwardly said, "You don't need to pay the tuition debt anymore, but I hope from tomorrow you won't come here again." That evening, after finishing training, Do-hun bowed to the coach, then left his face full of sadness. After walking a bit, he heard a voice from behind. "Hey, isn't it too late to be going home now?" "Yes." Du-hun turned coldly to look at Chun, who continued, "Wandering around at this hour scares people. You look just like a criminal." Du-hun looked up. "It's you again. I was wondering why you hadn't shown up lately, but today's your path. Go ahead. Because today there's going to be a fight." His eyes darkened. Someone might end up dead. Hey, Chun stepped forward. "Stop pretending. Before we fight, I have something to say. This time I won't throw punches, I'll just use a chokehold." Hearing that, Do-hun was confused. "What trick are you trying to pull?" No sooner had he finished speaking than Chun quickly charged forward. Du-hun was stunned. This guy said that and just charged right in. He reacted in time, throwing off the bag he was carrying. Chun was hurt. He shouted, "You despicable bastard." Then Do-hun continued, "Do you remember what I said last time? If you cause trouble again, I'll fight you barehanded." Chun grabbed Do-hun's fist to block. "Of course I remember. You also remember what I said about tearing you bastards to pieces, right?" Seeing Chun's determined eyes, Do-hun was a bit puzzled. What is this guy planning? After sharply pulling his arm to lure him in for a left punch, then using a chokehold while Do-hun's center of gravity shifted to one side. Or maybe he's just pretending to only use a chokehold like he declared, then taking advantage when I stretch my legs out to block his move, aiming straight at me. Du-hun carefully kept his distance, thinking fighting from afar would be safer. Seeing him so cautious, Chun asked sullenly, "What's up? Why all complicated all of a sudden? You're acting all complicated now. Do-hun replied. Just starting and you're already acting like you're the big shot after getting hit. Chun continued taunting. Don't stick so close. I told you I'm only using a chokehold. Saying that he began wildly dodging Do-hun's punches, then took advantage of an opening to drop low. Do-hun thought to himself this guy might be suspicious, but has definitely gotten braver. He's not afraid of my punches anymore. Not only that, Chun narrowly avoided all of Do-hun's critical hits, constantly rushing in like that forced Do-hun to defend, making it hard to throw proper punches. The two fought in a small alley. At this moment, Chun started acting wildly, catching Do-hun off guard. He charged at him. Chun thought about the situation and realized that as Do-hun fell, he used both legs to block him. Chun suspected, could he know jujutsu? However, I still have the advantage when he attacks. Do-hun also felt the situation was getting urgent. At this rate, it's not looking good. Even if he blocks the strike, he still has limits. He frowned, thinking. First, he had to push Chun away to create distance, then find a way to get up. But Chun had already gripped both of his thighs tightly. Do-hun panicked. Chun spun with a kick, continuing to pin him to the ground. Do-hun was angry at having his attack taken away, sensing danger approaching, and Chun glanced at him quietly, saying, Now let's see what you'll do to escape this situation. Suddenly, Do-hun threw a kick straight at Chun's head, punching continuously 5 times without stopping. Chun clenched his teeth in pain, thinking, what kind of fist is this as hard as stone? I have to use my head to deal with his punches. He thought that, then used his knee to press down on Do-hun's stomach to control him while pulling Do-hun's pelvis towards his neck and pressing hard on his stomach with his knee. Do-hun couldn't resist and struggled, trying hard to get up and escape this situation. He was forced to put his hands down, but that left vulnerable spots without defense. Chun could then squeeze his carotid artery. Do-hun gritted his teeth, watching every move Chun made. When Chun began to change his technique, he widened his eyes in fear. At this moment, Chun was on top of Do-hun, raising his elbow to strike directly at his face. He thought in his head, I might as well smash his face. Do-hun's face was bloodied and he couldn't speak, but Chun continued to spin on top of him, applying pressure so intense that Do-hun couldn't even cry out. Chun used a gripping motion to choke him like holding a baseball bat. In his heart, Chun thought, all right, I can feel victory. Just keep going. Don't let your guard down. Do-hun's neck was tightly squeezed, eyes bulging, mouth unable to make a sound. He felt like he was about to die. At that moment, he remembered his childhood memories of a happy family of 3. But while he was immersed in these memories, a loan shark appeared. Do-hun used all his strength to punch Chun's stomach. The blow was so strong that Chun's ribs felt like they were about to shatter. The pain made his face go pale. He managed to roll to one side. Long said in panic, how could he do this? He was already about to faint, so how did he have such terrifying strength? Johan breathed heavily, feeling a rising respect. I thought you were easy to bully, but I almost lost my life. He cracked his neck-cold eyes. From now on, I will fight with all my might, Junior. The two charged at each other. Chun threw a punch, but Johan dodged swiftly. He continued with several more strikes, but all missed their mark. Johan countered with a strong punch to Chun's side, then followed with several consecutive punches, lowering his stance without stopping. It seemed Johan had used all his strength. In the middle of the fight, Johan suddenly asked, I have to ask you something. Why do you have to go this far? This is enough. No matter how hard you try, will anything really change? I told you to consider it bad luck stepping in dog poop and just let it go. If you keep digging into that filthy mess, you'll just get dirty too. Even if you want to change something, this world doesn't care about you. You know, Dad. Chun lowered his head, determination flashing in his eyes. Who says that? No matter what this world is like, it has nothing to do with me. I just want to destroy the trash that blocks my friend's future. I'm one of those. Johan nodded, looking at him. So that's it. I understand now. Saying that he put all his strength into punching Chun's face. The powerful blow made him dizzy, stepping back several paces before falling flat to the ground. Johan sighed, looking at him. I'm sorry, but I have things I need to protect too. Aren't we all fighting our own battles? I'm not going to back down to you. Before he could finish, a voice rang out beside them. What day was that day? Johan was startled and turned around. He sat down in front of Chun. Beating this kid so soft like dough. Don't say he's dead, okay, brother? Johan stood up, trying to appear calm. I already paid you this month. I kept my promise. So why are you looking for me? The man lowered his head voice full of sarcasm. You act well. We've known each other for more than just a day or two. You're asking me what's going on. Yesterday, I took out the calculator and figured even if the sky fell, I still don't see how you can collect that much money by squeezing cash from the students at your school. Not to mention you plan to collect every 2 months. So I came to a conclusion. He shoved it close to Johan's face, his voice full of threat. I'm sitting on a business opportunity that's incredibly attractive. If you cooperate, you won't be short on cash, and I'll get to enjoy the smell of money as much as I want. What do you say? Let me guide you from A to Z on how to make money. Hearing this, Johan panicked. What are you doing? Don't... That sentence made the gang leader unhappy. What did you just say, punk? You dare talk back to me like that? Before he could finish, a whisper came from behind into his ear. Stop it! He looked around, confused. What did you just say? Chun grabbed the gang leader's neck. I told you to stop interfering in my business and take it somewhere else. At Chin's house, the rehab therapist came to visit. Therapist. How's your knee? I heard your rehab training is going really well. Chin smiled. Now I have no trouble with daily activities at all. What do you think? Where would you rank me among your patients? The woman smiled. Rehab isn't really her specialty, so she wasn't sure, but your spirit is definitely top-notch. Hearing this, Chin laughed happily. Actually, when I was little, I used to cry a lot, very sensitive. But whenever I'd squat down and cry, Chun would always stand next to me without doing anything. Hey, Chun, why do you just stand there like that? And my answer back then was, I have to stand still so you can hold my hand and help me stand up. After saying that, he looked at Chin confused. At that moment, she teared up. You really are a little pig. When I was little, every time like that, Chun would wait until I finished crying and stood up by myself. And the next day, there'd be trouble again. He went alone to those who teased me and told them to apologize. And then he'd get beaten up and come back. So I thought I had to be strong so Chun wouldn't get hurt anymore. Since then, I stopped crying and kept training. Hearing this, the teacher laughed. I really want to meet this Chun guy once. But just asking for an apology and getting beaten up like that. Thinking back, Chin found it funny. Of course not. This part was tricky. She looked at him struggling but with a strong stance. If things didn't go as he planned or obstacles came up, he'd blow things out of proportion. Just like now. Seeing Chun tightening his grip on gang leader Yohun's neck, she was a bit stunned. Don't touch him! Let go quickly, you crazy bastard! But Chun refused to listen. He squeezed his neck until his face turned red and purple. Johan next to him kept trying to reason. You've got to be careful. Do you know what you're doing? First let go. Seeing the gang leader's pained face, he couldn't help but laugh. The gang leader was furious seeing this. You're laughing, he roared. Just then his henchmen ran over. Seeing the gang leader's situation, they charged forward. You little brats, are you looking for trouble? Grab them for me, the gang leader shouted. At that moment, Chun realized the situation was extremely dangerous. With no other option, he threw the gang leader toward them, cursing the stubborn fools. The henchmen clamored, asking about the gang leader's condition. Is the boss okay? The gang leader shouted angrily. That bastard, catch him alive and bring him here. I'll skin him alive, teach him some manners. All the henchmen charged forward together. Chun was about to strike when he charged into these crazy guys, but before he could throw a punch, Johan pulled his shirt to the side to avoid it. This idiot is lost. He started to handle the others on his own. Johan struck the leader hard in the stomach and then punched him right in the face. The guys behind saw that and began to rush forward, but Johan didn't lose his ground. He kept knocking them down one after another. No matter who came up, none were a match for Johan. The others were scared. What's going on? Is that guy some kind of athlete? I'm too scared to even get close. You crazy bastards think you're sports pros or what? Then he grabbed an iron pipe and stepped forward. Please use your brains, you damned fools. Use that thing, dude. At that moment, seeing the iron rod in his hand, their eyes showed confusion. He swung the rod down at Chun. While hitting, he spoke to his henchmen behind. Do something fitting for your profession, you empty-headed fools. Yes! Johan clenched his teeth in pain. I have to keep my distance from that guy. But the boss still didn't stop. Johan, you bastard, is that how you repay me? Just die here already, damn you! As I was about to shout, a brick hit him square in the mouth. Chun, the one who threw. The brick frowned and said, What is your mouth stuffed with roots or something that you can't say a decent word? I threw it pretty well, huh? Seeing you act like that. Johan turned to look at Chun glanced at him, then turned his head to look at what? First, I'm getting out of here. If you want, follow me. Seeing that Johan silently cursed this coward, the boss who had been hit by the brick fell to the ground and pointed at the two of them. They're fine. You guys run away first. I'll get the full crew together and then deal with you two. It's because of that coward that I'm done for. Well, better to just get out of here first. The police station, Chun answered while running. I don't know either, I'm just running, dude. Then he smiled. Damn, I should have acted sooner. The two of them ran a long distance. They reached right across from the police station, but the two henchmen were nearly catching up. Johan ran behind, scolding, Why didn't you think about the consequences before you got so reckless? Do you even know who those guys are? Chun turned back his eyes full of hatred toward him. Those thugs use school violence to extort money, and you still ask if they have no conscience. You've really pissed me off. But right then, as Chun turned his head, he saw his martial arts gym. He said to Johan, First, let's hide over there. When the two slipped into a corner, the tailing thugs disappeared. The thugs stood in a corner, searching. Where did those two go? The boss asked a henchman pointing to the street corner. They disappeared nearby, sir. We'll search every nook and cranny in this area. The boss noticed the gym, looked up, then told his men, Call all who can come bring gear and gather here for me. Looks like I've tracked down those two rats. Meanwhile, Chun and Johan were quietly climbing the stairs. Johan curiously asked, Is the gym still open at this hour? Yeah, Chun nodded. It's open 24 hours. Hearing that, Johan thought, Niece, maybe I should find a 24-hour gym too. But as soon as he stepped inside, he was shocked. What kind of damn place is this? Chun explained. You know why our gym stays open all night. Because some restless spirits keep hanging around here. At the gym a little later, the boss had gathered his henchmen. A henchman reported to the boss, Is there anyone inside? The boss nodded. Yeah. Have you gathered the guys yet? Today we're gonna break that guy's neck and teach him a lesson. As the thugs approached, some people in the gym spoke up. What brings you here? Are you guys here to sign up for the gym? But the boss was arrogant. Hey, listen up. I'm looking for someone. Two tall guys came in here earlier, right? Suddenly, I wondered if one of those two guys might be training in this gym. Looking at this atmosphere, I kind of get the gist of it. But before I could finish speaking properly, Tayson shouted loudly. The shout startled the big boss. What's that? You scared me out of my wits. Why did you suddenly yell like that, Gia-san? He said coldly, You have to take off your shoes before entering the gym. If you leave shoe marks on the mat, it's a real pain to clean. The big boss frowned. Are you talking to me now? If you guys aren't here to inquire about gym registration, then get lost because I can press 1 or 12 fast. Gia-san warned, I'm telling you to get out of here. The henchman behind also spoke up. You arrogant punk, do you want to die? Then he spat a wad of saliva onto the mat. After spitting, he said, Oh, hello, Gia-san. Stepping forward, eyes fixed on the mat, the big boss rubbed his foot over it. Sorry, I was careless. Let me wipe it. Wiping like this will probably make your mat shine. Are you crazy or what, that you're not afraid? The other guy, struggling to clean, said, Let me show you what's really hard. Then he glared at Eisen. Are you the coach here? What do you want now? Want me to ruin your business here? Don't act all defiant just because you train here. Do you know that training for sports and real combat are different? But Eisen ignored him and lifted his phone to call the police. Seeing this, the big boss swung his club and knocked the phone from Eisen's hand. Eisen glanced at his hand and saw a scratch. The big boss raised his club arrogantly. Calling the cops on this lunatic. What's your plan now? I'll give you one last chance. Hand over those two kids, or do you want me to flatten this gym? As he spoke, the big boss noticed the wounds on Eisen's body and bent down to examine scars from cigarette burns. Wow, there's even a cut mark here, kid. What kind of person are you with all these scars? Where have you been operating? You must have some backing to act so cocky, Eisen. Frown, you'll regret it. The big boss smoked a cigarette. What was that? Can you say a full sentence for me? Why keep interrupting Eisen? He looked up. I said earlier you stopped me from calling the cops, so I'm going to make you regret that. You're not a minor, right? Hearing this, the big boss sneered. What minor? This guy sounds like he's high or something, even if I look young. But before he finished, Eisen put his hand up and crushed his cigarette. No, that's not what I meant. This is just my own standard. To me, anyone 20 years old or older is an adult. People like that can take responsibility for their actions, so I usually don't give them chances. And about you saying I'll make you regret it, I'll make you say it yourself. The big boss got furious hearing that. Come on, get it over with. Your life will be over after this. There are plenty like you, just hurry up. Then later, you'll regret it too late. I told you if you handed over those two brats, I'd leave quietly, but you still refused. After all, those two are strangers to you, right? If they're your parents, then maybe the world would be a family that betrays each other. But Eisen thought silently. All right, then, I'll show you. The big boss didn't react quickly. You said you'll show me, but Eisen used the same old trick. Yeah, but how good are you at rock, paper, scissors? If you win, I'll tell you whatever you want. Let's play one decisive round like real men. Seeing Eisen's strange behavior, the big boss felt very annoyed. Suddenly wanting to play rock, paper, scissors. What's that about? Are you messing with me? He shouted. However, he finally put out his hand to play with Eisen, thinking, gotta throw rock. I'm a man, after all. And just as he said, he kept throwing rock, but unexpectedly Eisen slapped him hard right in the face. Meanwhile, Chun and Do-hun are hiding in the room. Do-hun intently looking at his phone where a worried message from his mother is displayed because he hasn't come home yet. Do-hun leans against the wall, sighing. Seeing this, Chun beside him immediately turns and says, in this situation, you're still playing with your phone, you scoundrel. Do-hun replies, I'm texting my mom. If those guys come to the house, my mom will be in danger. Do-hun thinks killing him might be acceptable, but right now he also feels afraid. Those bastards are really vicious. I don't know what they'll do. Are you okay? Brother Eisen already told us to hide, so just see how things go. Also continue what you were saying earlier. What happened that day? Do-hun thought for a moment, then decided to tell. As far as I know, the schools organized a secret competition. The rules were simple. It was a knockout tournament. Each person paid an entry fee, and those who ranked higher would receive money from the total entry fees proportionally. Consider it as a reward. Basically, after investing, each person would earn income corresponding to their ability. But at some point, a very strange match appeared. It was a forced match, regardless of whether the person wanted to participate or not. If it seemed interesting, they would be dragged into it. The person who brought the target would get a certain amount of money. And that day, I don't know what words Ki-suk used to bring a guy named Ha-chin there. What I say might sound like an excuse, but I was never interested in matches like that, not even watching them. I left the crowd at that moment, that's all I know. After Do-hun finished telling Chun suddenly punched him, you say you were never interested. Then you should have resisted. If you knew it was wrong, you should have reported it to the police. Why did you just stand there? Are you pretending to be innocent so you don't lose what you have? Chun shouted angrily. Listen carefully. Even if you have unavoidable hardships, you and those guys are all trash alike. Do you understand? But unexpectedly, Do-hun was not angry. He even felt those words were not wrong because he knew even though it was a wrong path, he chose it in a chaotic situation. The two men were rushing at each other in a fight when suddenly a loud explosion sounded outside. Johan turned his head, a gut feeling telling him that the enemy had arrived outside. The gang leader who was just hit was furious. It's been a long time since I really wanted to take someone's life. The henchmen around frantically asked their boss, Are you okay? He turned around and shouted angrily, Stop asking, you useless fools. Kill him for me, you idiots. Go get that bastard's life. It's okay to kill him. Charge in and beat him now. Eisen, standing opposite, just coldly looked at him and sarcastically said, Your rock, paper, scissors game is really bad now. I won, but I won't let you know. Meanwhile, the henchmen started charging forward. One guy rushed at Eisen, but he blocked the strike with one hand. Eisen's gaze was ice cold. He swung his leg hard, kicking the henchman. The kick was so strong that the guy's kneecap cracked loudly. A scream of pain echoed. The others, seeing their comrade beaten, got excited and rushed forward, yelling madly, but Eisen remained unshaken. A punch straight to the mouth made that guy fall to the ground. The outcome was not good at all. The gang leader became even angrier and shouted, You brainless idiots, all of you go up for me. Grab those two standing at the back, too. The two guys in the back murmured fearfully, Is there a phone call 911? But the phone had already been thrown far away. That day, Eisen picked up a belt from the ground, ready to deal with the charging henchmen. When they got closer, the two at the back panicked and shouted, Don't come over here. The other side has weapons. How do we fight? A henchman frowned and yelled, Charge through. A henchman frowned and shouted, Charge. But Eisen's belt swung straight into his face. Another hit, the guy bent down and flipped onto the ground. Then Eisen wrapped his belt tightly around his hand and said, Didn't I say I hate those thug gangsters in the gym? I'm used to this kind of thing. The gangsters, seeing Eisen so fierce, began to get a little scared. Eisen choked one guy as a warning. From now on, anyone holding a weapon will definitely have at least one body part broken. And if you're unlucky, that part might be your neck or back. Then he squeezed harder, making the guy moan and collapse to the ground. Then Eisen looked at the gangsters and said, "Don't just drop your weapons. Hold on to them and charge." Although a bit scared, the gangsters still retorted, "Cut the crap, man." Then yelled to their comrades, "Charge all at once, brothers! Let's see how long you can hold out." As soon as he finished, the whole gang rushed forward. Eisen swung a slap that twisted one guy's face, then locked his arm tightly behind his back. A small move, but it broke the guy's arm. A dreadful scream echoed. Another guy charged with a stick, but Eisen reacted lightning fast. He used the man he was controlling to block the strike while wrapping the belt around the stick to snatch the weapon from the attacker's hand. The attacker was stunned and couldn't react. Eisen spun the stick in his hand and teleported in front of him. The man raised his hands in fear to block his face, but Eisen's target wasn't him. It was the rack behind him. Then Eisen delivered a horizontal strike so fast the opponent couldn't react. The gangster beside him was scared and couldn't believe his eyes. "What the hell are you?" He stammered, but before he could finish, Eisen snapped his arm backward, lightning fast. Eisen tilted his head slightly, eyes cold. "You asked me what I am." His threatening tone made the man tremble. Wait, he begged, but Eisen just coldly said, "I am the Grim Reaper for scum like you." As he finished, a cracking sound rang out. His shoulder joint was broken. A blood-curdling scream echoed throughout the building. Outside, Chun was watching when he suddenly noticed someone trying to sneak attack Eisen. "Eisen, watch out! There's a pig behind you trying to take you down." He shouted to warn him, but before the fat guy could act, Eisen was as fast as lightning, grabbing his arm and bending it forward. Then, with a move using the belt to choke the fat guy, collapsed to the ground unconscious. Eisen smoothed back his hair, eyes full of disdain, scanning the opponents. "Anyone else want to break a bone? Come on, step up. I still have to go eat some spicy food later." The big boss next to him finally spoke, voice full of challenge. "Not bad, kid. Did you come from special forces or something to fight this well? Here's the deal, if your family gets taken hostage, what will you do? I've seen good fighters end up sacrificing everything." But when Eisen turned around, he saw Chun and Jo Hun were already restrained by the others. The big boss stepped closer, voice threatening. "In reality, numbers win." In his hand, a knife gleamed coldly. "Damn it, after all this time, I finally have to use this again. One slash and you'll be out cold." Calmly, Eisen replied, "You shouldn't cross a river if you know you can't come back. The moment you use a knife is when you're betting your life." Seeing Eisen's imposing aura, the big boss panicked. "What the hell is this? Why is this bastard suddenly so scary?" Then Eisen turned to his men confidently, "I've never lost in one-on-one fights." At that moment, the two remaining men began to attack. The big boss couldn't hold back and shouted angrily, "You useless fools, take my knife!" Eisen remained calm. "So you chose to cross that river." But at that moment, a powerful punch landed straight on the big boss's face, making the knife fall. Seeing this, Eisen couldn't help but say, "Nice hit." After knocking out the big boss, Jo Hun breathed a sigh of relief, bent down, and said to him, "No smoking inside here." The big boss was so shocked, he couldn't believe it. "Are you crazy, kid?" He turned to his henchman, coldly ordering, "I'm speechless, don't know what to say. Pick up the knife and give it to me." However, Chun's car appeared in time and kicked the knife further away. He looked straight at the big boss and said calmly, "Sorry, brother, but guests are coming soon. Save the knives for next time." The big boss was so angry his face turned pale and shouted, "You brainless idiots, whoever has a knife, bring them all out for me." The henchmen, seeing the two appear, couldn't help but gossip. "Yeah, too cautious, only now coming out here, you little rats. Come over here while I'm still polite." Just then, a knock on the door sounded. Two police officers entered and announced, "We got a report and came to check the situation. What's going on?" As soon as they looked inside, they saw some holding knives. Both officers were startled and shouted, "Drop your knives and raise your hands above your head." The henchmen panicked. "Boss, we better get out of here." The situation seemed quite complicated now, but the big boss still held firm. How can gangsters be so scared of dying? Anyway, those cops can't do anything to us. 4 officers raised their guns, warning, Don't be reckless. This is your last warning, drop the knives. But the big boss wasn't scared and even turned to challenge. Aren't you just carrying those things for show? Don't you know that electric guns can kill someone instantly? Before he could finish, someone appeared and shot a stun gun at him. That person was also annoyed, saying that crazy bastard even pretends to be smart, really annoying. In these situations, you have to be quick. What are you hesitating for? The big boss, hit by the stun gun, collapsed on the ground. The henchman, seeing this, got angry. Are you crazy? What if someone dies? What do you plan to do? The person stepped forward and shouted, "You rude little brats!" Then he flew forward and punched a henchman in the face. Another one, not knowing his place, rushed in and also got slapped hard. While hitting him, he said, "Your gangster boss doesn't remind you that you should remember my face. And do you even know how many crimes you're committing right now? I'll show you how terrifying the power of the state is." The police car was already parked in front of the gym. The big boss was also arrested. One officer escorted him outside. The big boss still turned back and said, "Who called the cops? You dare lay a hand on me? Don't you know who I am?" The man beside him raised his leg and said, "I'm not using my hands anymore, I'll use my feet." Then he kicked the big boss's shin. The big boss was in so much pain he sat down on the ground. "That's you talking, you little brat." The other shouted, "If you dare open your mouth again, you're dead for sure. I'll take this chance to break the gang you're protecting." The big boss still showed no fear and replied disdainfully, "What nonsense is that? So what if I'm arrested? Oh, cops like you are just salaried workers. Even if I committed crimes, I'm innocent until proven guilty in court. Don't you know the principle of presumption of innocence? So don't try to prosecute me." The officer stared at him. "Presumption of innocence? What principle, you thug?" Then he headbutted the gang leader hard, then turned to his colleague. "Did you see this thug just hit the police?" The other person nodded. "Yes, I saw it clearly. It almost turned into a murder case. Luckily, no one was seriously injured." Chun pointed to the right side of his face. "My face hurts a bit and my shoulder is a little sore too." Jackson spoke up. "We weren't seriously hurt either. But officer, could you take off your shoes?" He pointed down at the policeman's feet. The officer hurriedly said, "Sorry, I was in a rush and forgot. Though it's late, we need to file a report. Can you all come with me, because that thug will call a lawyer, so it's better we resolve this quickly. I will also go with you. This matter happened because of me. Where will we be questioned?" "The police are investigating Hochin's case. If those guys find out, it will get complicated." Then everyone was taken to the police station. The gang leader kept yelling, "Honestly, you should ask those guys." But he strangled me from behind. He showed the police the injuries on his body. "We're innocent. We need treatment now." "You locked us up like this, is that okay?" The officer walked over and struck the gang leader. "Order, enough talking. You don't know the hospital is busy handling multiple traffic accident emergencies. First, you all need to endure it. This has nothing to do with these guys." Luckily, no one was hurt. Officer Zhang passed by and saw the patrol car. It was almost a major accident. You saw the police, so you reported it. After hearing you, the officer gave you a business card. If anything like today happens or you need help, contact me at this number. But how did you kids get involved with gangsters? They're all thugs and filthy. John heard the question and replied. That just happened suddenly. They cut in. But Chun's car put an arm around him. No, sir. The senior owes them money, and they have threatened him. You turned to the police. I'm not really sure. Calm down, sir. Hearing this, the officer let it go and asked again. Oh, right. Does this matter relate to Hochin Kia students at all? If you tell what you know even a little, it will help the investigation. But John shook his head. It's not related, sir. I already gave a full statement earlier. Hearing this, John looked at you thinking. He plans to investigate without telling the police. What can he do alone? Then the officer turned to John and asked, You have nothing else to report besides what just happened, right? If there's anything we should know, say it now. Yes. John looked up and answered softly. No, nothing, sir. Like my friend said, you know already. If I learn anything else or need help, I will contact you right away. After the instructions, the officer turned to the next person, Mr. Eisen. At this time, Eisen and the gang leader were dozing off on the chairs. It wasn't until the next morning that everything ended. The police escorted everyone outside and said, You've all worked hard. Please go rest. If anything happens, we will contact you immediately. Everyone stepped out of the house, tired and hungry. Eisen suddenly remembered the police report and not getting to order bibimbap. What a pity. I really wanted to eat it. Chun sat next to him excitedly suggested, "Let's eat tteokbokki." "Who's hungry, raise your hand." Asen turned to ask him. "You're not going," he replied. "Of course I'm going. Still have to pay the monthly bills." Eisen sneered. "Honestly, I really want to kick you out." Dohun at the back looked at everyone happily chatting, but suddenly felt sad. After a while, he spoke up. "I'm sorry for causing trouble for the gym. If you need cleaning, just call me." After saying that, he bowed and was about to walk away when Eisen called him back. "Hey, boxing thug Dohun?" He looked up in confusion. "Yes, call me." Eisen smiled softly. "Besides you, who else is the thug here?" Then he turned to ask, "I wonder if you like tteokbokki." Dohun was stunned but quickly replied, "I like it." So the whole group went out to eat together. Eating and laughing happily, they saw Dohun crying tears from the spiciness. Everyone laughed louder. Chun pointed at him. "It's so funny, so spicy that he's drooling too." Dohun made an excuse. "This is just sweat. I naturally sweat a lot." Eisen sat beside him and asked gently, "So how much do you owe that guy?" Dohun sighed. "These days, just the interest alone is about 500,000 won a month. I've already signed a contract with him, so I can't do anything else. Before, I had to use my mom's construction site wages and extra work money just to pay it off. They not only didn't reduce the debt, but also increased the interest. I know this is wrong, but I have no choice but to earn money with what I'm best at." "Yes." Hearing this, everyone looked at Dohun with sympathy. Eisen spoke up. "Recycling, huh?" "Dohun, I don't get it." "What do you mean?" Eisen explained. "I mean the recycling business. If someone helps you start a new life gradually, you can make up for all past mistakes. If you really think that way, I will help you erase that debt." Dohun silently cried after hearing this. Eisen continued, "But I have one condition, if you want." Kisuk and Hunsuk were strolling on campus. When Hunsuk saw the strange scene, he tapped Kisuk on the shoulder. Kisuk turned around looking shocked. "Those two are together. What on earth is wrong with them?" Hunsuk wondered. "Here's Dohun asking. Today after school, you're coming straight to the gym, right?" Dohun responded. "Yeah. What's up? You have to come too. That mess was caused by you and me, so we have to clean it up together. Besides, there are many things to hear and many tasks to do." Before leaving, Dohun reminded, "You focus on doing what you need to do first." Kisuk and Junsuk were lurking below and overheard this conversation. Kisuk clenched his teeth in anger after hearing it. "What do they mean by that? What are those two planning to do together? And where is this gym?" Junsuk broke out in cold sweat. "Aren't you planning to kick out that second-year representative, Dohun? What if he takes back his position?" "What will you do then?" Kisuk shouted. "Cut the crap, you crazy guy. At that time, I just lost my guard, that's all. If I fight him again, I think I can win." On the rooftop, Dohun was examining the notebook Kisuk gave him. "Are you sure this is the list of money collected from the second-year students? Lately, there's hardly been any records." "Yes," Kisuk replied. "Yes, sorry, senior, but don't worry. I've been training hard lately. Soon I'll crush that guy for you." Dohun sneered. "Lucky you said crush him. Basically, it's the second-year students we're collecting money from." Kisuk didn't get the hint. "Yes. Should I gather them all for the boss?" Dohun refused. "No need. I have to meet each one personally. When it's break time, just bring me to meet them." Kisuk replied. "Yes, I got it." Outwardly, Kisuk seemed obedient, but inwardly thought, "That bastard is like a demon." At break time, Kisuk took Dohun to each classroom. "There's one in this class. He's acting tough because he has Chun backing him. Lately, he's been very defiant." Dohun entered and called out to John Hun, asking if he was the second-year student John Hun. The boy nervously replied, "Yes, senior, that's me." In his heart, he worried that the guy was coming directly to shake down the second-year students. "Thanks to Chun, I haven't had to pay money lately, and life at school has been easier, but if this keeps up..." Before his thoughts could finish, he saw the school's big boss kneel down in front of him. When Suk stood there bewildered, that student also gaped in surprise. All the students in the class looked on fearfully. They witnessed a notorious big boss in the school kneeling before a weak student. That day, Eisen said to him, "Let me give you some advice." "Who do you think apologizing is for?" He replied, "Of course it's for the person who deserves it, isn't it?" Eisen praised him and gave a very accurate assessment. However, sometimes people apologize just to feel relieved even when the other person doesn't expect an apology. Being forgiven is similar. So when you're the one apologizing, you shouldn't expect anything even if it takes a long time. The most important thing is to express sincerity and deliver a clear message that makes the hurt person feel they did nothing wrong. That is the true meaning of an apology. At that moment, Do-hun listened to Aizen's advice. He knelt before the student and said, "I'm sorry. I want to apologize for the pain you've suffered because of me." Ki-suk stood beside him, shocked and confused about what was happening. He shouted, "What's going on? Why are you doing this?" "Why kneel before this idiot? It just hurts my pride too much." Do-hun coldly looked at Ki-suk and said, "If you don't want to do it with me, then shut up. And you should ask for forgiveness, too." Ki-suk angrily, "Are you crazy? What are you saying, suddenly pretending to be nice? You're embarrassing me. What the hell is this crap, man?" Do-hun's expression turned serious as he said, "If you don't want to do it, then get lost. But from this moment on, there will be no more collecting money or violence at school. And I won't participate in that contest anymore. Just know that." He gritted his teeth. "Why do you make decisions on your own like that? Why are you doing whatever you want, senior?" Do-hun lowered his head and coldly replied, "What's wrong with doing what I want? If you're not happy, then fight me." But Suk, now a bit scared, quickly said, "I didn't mean that. It's just too sudden. And besides, I can't handle these things. So embarrassing I could die." After saying that, he hurriedly ran away, muttering as he went, "What a crazy guy." When he stepped outside, Ki-suk saw Chun standing by the classroom door. In anger, he turned to blame that bastard. "What exactly did you do to make him like this? Or did you find his weak spot?" Chun glanced at him sarcastically and said, "Now he's thinking, and even his brain's starting to wrinkle. He's completely different from someone like you." He continued, "Cut the crap. He won't last much longer. I'll beat you like a dead dog." Ki-suk panicked and ran away. "Not today. Just wait. Bastard. You'll regret this." Inside the classroom, the student fearfully looked at Do-hun. "Can you please sit down and talk?" But Do-hun was firm. "No need. I'll kneel." The student tried to persuade him. "I only said that because I feel uncomfortable." Hearing that, Do-hun finally sat down. After a moment of silence, he slowly spoke. "I truly apologize for using my family situation as an excuse to bully you. I'm not asking you to forgive me, but I want to say please don't blame yourself or have negative thoughts because of this. The ones at fault here are me, Ki-suk, and the whole group that bullied you. This didn't happen because of you. I hope you won't hate yourself because of toxic words like mine. I will spend my whole life making amends. I really am sorry. Also, there's one more thing. The money I took from you, I'll return it as soon as I can. Could you please confirm if the amount written in this notebook is correct?" Then he handed the notebook to the student. He took it and nodded. "Yes, sir. But senior, does that mean from now on I won't be robbed or beaten and can attend school normally?" Hearing those words, Do-hun couldn't help but feel confused, wondering what trouble he had caused. He affirmed, "That's right. I will make sure your life at school goes back to how it was before." Chun stood outside the door listening to everything. He bowed his head, lost in thought.